Hello, everyone, and thank you, thank you for showing back up to the human narrative here at Redding, Florida. Um, I am Robbie Rapole. I am your MC, your host, uh, the human who talks the most on these evenings. um, and I thank you all for being here. Tonight, our topic is healing. And if you've never been to a human narrative before, it is an event that my friend Chad Talley came to me. He said, "Hey, I got this idea. Got to talk to you in person." I'm like, "Why the fuck you got to talk to me in person?" He goes, "Well, I got to talk to you in person." So he comes in person. We talk about it. I'm like, "Cool, I want to do this," because he said there's a thing we did before. We had about 5 or 6 speakers, and we talked on the topic. So we started with that. And as time has gone on, it has evolved into something similar yet different. And so what we do is we pick one word. That one word is a topic that all of us can relate to because life is really fucking relatable. And tonight's topic is healing. And last topic was love. We've had a number of different topics. And healing is an ugly, weird, gross, disgusting, scary journey. And it's going to be a fun time for us all to share about all those ugly, gross, scary, disgusting things. So, as I said, this is my partner in crime, Chad Talley. He is, the brains behind the operation. I told him we'll do this thing, but I really don't want to do much. Uh, you organize the thing, and then we'll do the thing. So, yeah, right. Well, I do as much as I can. Like I have no problem. Being the guy that posted on my social media and being the MC, but you organize the shit, so it's great. And now we have a group on Facebook that is our regular speaker panel. And I think I got everyone in my brain that is here. Are you a regular speaker? Do you want to be a regular speaker? All right, cool. Yeah, exactly. So like, we get a new regular speaker every time, and every time we start with our regular speakers, and then we open the floor to everyone else that is inspired to speak and share part of their story. So I am assertive when it comes to feeling things and knowing there's people that still need to speak. So if you need to speak and you need to share, please fucking do it. It's healing for yourself. It's healing for the other people in the room. And it's just a beautiful, fun time. And you're in a really fucking safe space. Aside from the fact that we're live streaming on YouTube, it's just us in this room that sees it. Yeah, yeah, YouTube comments are the most safe. But the good thing is, I'll show up on the YouTube comments and tell people to fuck off on your behalf. So, but yeah, seriously, don't let that scare you. If you have something to fucking say it. It's super beautiful, it's super healing, and it's super awesome. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Chad Talley to the front because Chad is our opener every fucking time because he's a fucking man and he does the hardest job, which is be the opener. So tonight we are talking on healing. Remember that. Healing is our thing tonight. And so when we speak, we just share stories about that. So it could be a time when you were going through healing and it was really fucking hard. It could be a time where you're still battling with healing. It doesn't fucking matter. Anything that comes around healing. It could be the fact that you're still not healed. But share your fucking story if you need to tonight. So without further ado, Mr. Chad Talley.
I really appreciate the warm welcome. So the person who kind of gave me the idea for my whole speech tonight isn't here yet. Hopefully he gets here soon. What gave me the idea, because when we thought, I'm actually the one who told you we should do it about healing, and I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. And then Abel was tattooing my ass, which I'm happy to show anybody that wants to see. I've shown my ass more times since he's tattooed it than I ever have before. But he was tattooing me, and I mentioned last event that I went to, that I got accepted to go and volunteer at the International OCD Foundation's annual OCD conference. And I was telling Abel about it and how something that Robbie had texted me, and I'll go into further detail in a second, But I was telling Abel about it, and he goes, "Oh, that's so sweet. You guys are, you found your tribe. You guys are a tribe." And I was like, "That's what I'm going to talk about. The importance of finding your tribe in your healing process. So without the people that I've found in my life, my healing process would have never happened. So I'm going to start with talking about the OCD conference and my experience there. As you all know, as I mentioned every single time, that I'm very antisocial. I'm very introverted, obviously. And so the first 2 days of the conference, I was by myself because Megan had to work, and I bought her a 2-day ticket when I got there so that she could come Saturday and Sunday. But Thursday, Friday, I was on my own. And I was a volunteer, so I had to meet up with other volunteers, and they gave us a spot to meet up. So I'm sitting there at the meetup spot, and nobody's here. It's everybody that knows each other, talking to each other, and I'm sitting in the corner like, oh, this is where we're supposed to meet, right? And I text Robbie, I'm like, hey, I'm here. Super fucking awkward, but I'm here. And he texts me back, and he's like, oh, if you need to talk, call me. If you need to talk it through, text me. And he started telling me about his experience when he went to the Tony Robbins conference, and how he went by himself and how it was awkward at first. And I really appreciated that. But by the time he had texted me back, other volunteers had kind of showed up, and we started talking because we're all volunteering. We're all by ourselves. Some people actually traveled from out of state and from all over the world just to come and volunteer for this conference. And I'm sitting there talking to people from other states, from other countries that have OCD as well, or are researching it and want to come to the conference. And it was fantastic. And the whole conference was great. I got to meet a lot of people that I followed on social media. I got to meet my advocacy hero, Ethan Smith. Hopefully he's watching. He might not be watching. And his wife, Katie. They were great. It was without my circle, I would have never had the confidence to go and push myself to go and do that alone. I got to sit on a bunch of panels. They had a bunch of support groups. Megan actually came up on that Friday night, and it was great having her there, because it's a whole community of people that go through the same stuff. And if you don't know what I go through, go back to the First Human Narrative on Patreon. And I talk pretty in depth about the stuff that I go through on there. But it's a community of people that go through similar and same things, and clinicians that treat people, and researchers that are researching the better treatments. And people that I follow, I actually got to meet, and after the conference, they actually started a support group. So, Face Your Fears. She actually made my bracelet here. She makes charms like the Fuck OCD, and it's a Pabst Blue. Robbie actually tattooed Pabst Blue right there. Pabst Blue for my grandpa, who was his favorite beer, and he named us. He numbered us because he didn't want to remember names. So I'm part number 1. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I saw that she made it. I'm like, I definitely have. Oh, there's Abel. Tattooed my ass. But yeah, so the whole idea behind the bracelet is to put stuff on there that triggers me. So I have like teeth, because fuck teeth. A heart, because one of my health OCDs is constantly worrying that I'm having a heart attack because I have higher elevated cholesterol. And any kind of pain or feeling I have in my chest, in my head, it's immediately, what if it's a heart attack? What if you're dying? What if you're dying? What if you're dying? And lungs, because I have asthma. But yeah, Face Your Fears. I got to meet her during the conference and follow her on Instagram. And afterwards, she actually started a support group called, what's it called now? It's the Advocacy Support Group. So in that support group, it's a chat that we have. It's people that go through OCD, clinicians, researchers. There's actually people that are on the boards of groups that are in Georgia and other states. We actually had somebody like, I want to be more involved, in OCD research, and she's in Georgia, and she actually got to meet a board member of an OCD group in Georgia, and she hooked up with him. But finding your tribe is so important. I found Megan, and when we were in Virginia, I had my big breakdown that I've spoke about before. I'm not going to go into the whole thing again. But, through that experience, I found my support group, my main support group that I didn't start, but I started attending. And through them, like without that group, I would have never learned about ERP, which is exposure with response prevention. It's the gold standard in treating OCD. I would have never learned that. Who knows where I would have been? Because at that point in time, my mind was very, very, very loud. And we have a great group of people. We actually talk outside of the group. We share each other's stuff. We cheer each other on for every step that we make. Finding your tribe and people that understand what you're going through, and people that relate and encourage you to do better, to excel. That's so important in your healing journey. And that's about all I have for tonight. I mean, to find your tribe, find the people that surround yourself with people who elevate you, who want you to do better. That's all I have. And if you want to see my ash, just let me know. I'll show you.
That was interesting hearing it from that other's perspective, because I just shot a text to the homie soon if he was all right, and you don't realize that you're actually making a difference when you text people sometimes. So that's really cool, and your tribe is super fucking important. I mean, I found my tribe, and they say your vibe attracts your tribe, and that's real as fuck. Yeah.
You are all in my tribe now. I appreciate every one of you.
So that triggered two things for me to say right quick. One thing, the Human Narrative has a Patreon. It is the Human Narrative on Patreon. I think it's like $5 a month. It's all the prior Human Narrative events, and then we have extra content that we throw in there from time to time. So if you want to support this venture, that's a great way to do it, and it's a great way to get some positive energy brought to you. Also, I started this thing on Facebook called the Tattoo Community Support Group. You do not have to be tattooed to be in it, but if you are a part of my group in life, you are a part of my tattoo community, so come be a part of the group. It is a place for no bullshit. We can joke, we can have fun, but we can't be fucking rude to each other. Other people that get rude to each other, we throw them out, or we ask them not to fucking be rude to each other, because everybody's fighting some sort of serious fucking battle that we don't talk about a lot of the time, and that is a very safe place for us to talk about it. So people aren't allowed to make it unsafe in there. So it's a very wonderful, safe place to be a part of. The Tattoo Community Support Group, it's on my Facebook. It's the pinned post at the top. And just go there and try and become part of it, and we will accept you. Hopefully you answer the fucking questions, please. So many people don't answer the questions. Yeah, moderator. Megan, is it your turn? Yeah. All right. So we have a very special event tonight. Megan is Mrs. Chad. She's been to just about every one of these, right? She's been to every one of these. And, she's been a friend of mine for years. She's been a wife of Chad's the whole time they've been married. And she constantly talks about doing this, and she never does it. She never has the balls. She never has the story. Okay, 2 times ago. I forgot. My apologies. All right. So, my apologies. She talks about doing it more than she actually does it, but tonight she came up to me. She's like, I got to go second. So, it is Megan's turn. Megan wrote some shit. So, Mrs. Megan Talley. Who also gives some of the best hugs in the business.
Indeed. All right. I really don't like bright lights. Or holding shit. Or holding shit. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. All right. Illumination. What the fuck? I don't know who his is because I can't see shit. Oh. All right. Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay. That's not now, Chad. Not now. Anyways, I wrote things because I'm really, really bad at remembering things, but I'm also really bad at public speaking. So I decided on public reading, as this is a storytelling event anyways, right? Anyway, so after all, I'll start out by saying I've always had a hard time talking about my feelings. I've never really felt that anybody growing up ever really gave a shit about how I was actually felt about anything anyways. But now I say, how are you supposed to heal if you can't really say it out loud or talk about it? So I'll start out by saying my journey of healing has really been a rough one, but it gets better each day. I didn't have the best childhood. I know it wasn't the best or the worst either, though. Sorry, I suck at reading apparently too. I can't read shit. Oh, thanks. Aw, you're so cute. Fucking love you. It's just that I never had someone in my corner, the safe space that I needed to be myself. Anyway, to tell you a bit about my family, my mother was a stay-at-home mom who sheltered us from the outside world, though living her own lifestyle at home and keeping that hidden as well, or at least really good about lying about it. My father had a Monday through Friday job working as a contractor building houses. He came home every night and drank his 12-pack of Budweiser and then went to his room without saying anything. His way of showing love was usually in the form of physical abuse, whether it be flicking my ear or kicking me or pinching me. And whenever I tried to talk to my mom about it, she usually just said, that's just the way he shows his love to you. Even though in my brain, I was like, what the fuck? Because even I knew that was wrong, even at a young age. Unfortunately, as I got older, he just started using his fists. But at that time, I'm just going to go ahead and say love had nothing to do with it. But anyway, I also have an older sister by like a year and a half. You'd have thought that we were like BFFs, right? But I think before the age of she was 12, I'd say that we probably fought like normal siblings did. After many hurdles, I'm happy to say that my sister's one of my best friends now. Nobody will truly understand the things that we went through like she did. I'm pretty much on my own from there. I felt pretty broken when I was younger. After many years, battles, mistakes, and tears, I met an amazing man. I know Chad has told our story about how we met, and so I'll skip past that part. I've struggled with depression and anxiety my whole life, but I don't really feel like I would have started healing at all without him. Not to say that I haven't put in the work to face my demons, but he truly is my other half. Throughout my life, I have collected my own friends or what we call family. Without them healing would have also not been possible. As many traumatic or terrible events that we've all been through. As much as you'd like to shoot those moments or memory balls to the very back of your mind, spoiler alert, like in Inside Out 2, we all need these moments to grow from the good, the bad, the ugly, and straight up disgusting to make us the beautiful, rad people that we truly are. There have been too many times in my life where I've felt that I was in a horror movie and the camera was panning around in circles and ended up stopping at me and the mirror staring, and I was sorry, and I ended up stopping at the mirror staring at myself like I was the villain the whole time. But I've learned to give myself some fucking credit, because we're only human and we all make mistakes. Sometimes things in life feel like a bandage you've left on the floor for too long that it becomes infected, and when you finally rip it off, you expose all of the layers of skin that you've been hiding deep down, festering, that are all now out in the open. Now that you've just have to learn to live, to take care of them until they heal, scar, and become part of you as you grow as a person. Having a child of my own has opened my eyes to lots of love that I have no idea I had in me. And I can finally be the parent that I've always wanted for her. Healing is such an everyday thing for me. You learn, you live, you learn, you grow, and you heal. It's part of the process, and you have to trust the process. And if I don't, I fucked up because I got tattooed on me. All right.
Thank you, Megan. It's okay. You are not the only person that feels vomitous when they do this. And you said at the beginning that you're not good at public speaking. I think you're just scared of public speaking. You know, I've, especially doing this event, I find out how many people are just plain terrified to do this shit. So the fact that any of us do this, fucking, I'm proud of y'all. Y'all got balls to get up here and speak in front of a fucking camera that's live streaming, in front of people you don't know, you know, so it's a big deal. So give yourself some credit. I'm proud of you, doggy. Love you, homie. So I see a bunch of regulars in here. So who wants to be the next one? You just let me know. Because I know we have Abel, Ashley, Becky, Scott, Kathleen. Huh? Oh, yeah. I didn't see. You want to do this there, Dr. Kiki? All right, so Kiki is a wonderful human. I tell this story every time, but I love this story. David's wife, Kiki. Yeah. So I met Kiki at the shop. She booked a tattoo appointment or a consultation. And within minutes, we were crying together and hugging. So I was like, yeah, I like this bitch. So we became friends, and she became, you know, a connection to my new soul family. So I am very proud and very happy to bring in Kiki. Now I'm insecure about how I say the last name. Poyer. Yeah, Kiki Poyer.
So, this is my topic. I'm very excited to talk. I'm actually shivering, so I might stand up, I might sit down. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm definitely going to need lots of eyes. Thanks for going first, Megan. So I think tribe is a huge place to start because without my tribe, like, I think my tribe has showed me what healing is and how you can be supported through it. So you meet these people that are on their healing journey because they're fucked up. You're not meeting people that had these beautiful lives and their parents were so beautiful and gave them opportunities and they were just thriving and they felt so loved and supported. That's not the people you're meeting on your healing journey. You're meeting the people that were abused and raped and manipulated, and they usually become those things as well before they jump onto their healing journey. So they usually have a past of fucked upness. So I am going to go into my fucked upness, and it's quite raw and vulnerable. And I know that my story is hard to hear for people who have not experienced it. So I'm not going to let that stop me. So if it gets to be too much for you, I'm going to ask that you step away. So when I was 6 years old, my stepbrother molested me. When I was 7 years old, my neighbor friend's stepdad molested me and raped me multiple times a month. And it was, I enjoyed it at the time. at 7 years old. When I was 8 years old, my friends taught me how to masturbate with things in my house. By the time I was 9 and 10 years old, I was experienced. I knew what I was doing. By the time I was a teenager, I was manipulating. I was using my body to get things that I wanted, and it became very easy. In that, I became a liar, and I got very good at that. I have I fucked up so much. And, you know, it might not have been drugs and hard drugs and alcohol, but, you know, I was the woman that was talking married men into sleeping with me while I was a married woman. And I had a laundry list of men like that. And that's not including the men that weren't married. And then my brother got diagnosed with cancer. And he was 22 years old. So I was also in my young 20s. Currently separated from my husband because he found out about one of the affairs that I was having. And that was a reality check for me, because before that I didn't really experience grief. I've never lost anybody. I lost a great grandma at one point. But before that, it was my brother. I just got a text on a Tuesday that said, "Hey, come to town. Don't tell mom I have a brain tumor." And that changed the rest of my life. So that happens in July. The following February, he passed away. And a few weeks after that, I was in David's parking lot at his apartment. And I was on the phone with my mom having a panic attack. At the time, I didn't know I had anxiety or panic attacks. So that was, not knowing what it was. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm just like freaking out. And she gave me this analogy. We were trying to figure out if we were going to make it work or not. And I was still active in my affair at that time. So David, my mom gave me this analogy of like filing bankruptcy in our marriage. And what she meant by that, I don't know if she meant that, but what I took from that was I went inside and David and I sat across from each other and we put everything on the table. Any questions, any answers. The only rule was don't ask a question you don't want to know the answer to, because it's being told right now. I'm going all in. But after that, clean slate, new line of credit. If I fuck it up or he fucks it up from that point on, but everything in the past, as long as it's on the table and nothing comes up later, let's try it. So I can't remember the date, but that day I truly started my healing journey. I said, okay, you know all my shit. I'm owning all my shit. This is some really ugly shit. And we just move forward. I have never cheated on him since. I have not looked any other direction. And what happens with that is you're faced with your own fucking demons. So, Kiki, why were you having all these affairs? What makes you lie to these people? What are you feeling unsafe from? And then holy fucking shit, it just, the layers and the infections and all the shit. And you're like, holy shit, no wonder I was acting a fucking idiot, And that's because I was 7 years old being taught how to pleasure all kinds of things. So then when you're healing your sexual things, what that looks like is crying in the middle of sex. You know, I'm very blessed with my husband, who is such a safe person. And please, God, send the people like David to the hurt women out there, because we would be in the middle of it or starting it, and I would just fucking cry. And then I would have to discover, why the fuck am I crying, you know? So even since we've lived in this house, which has been less than 2 years, I sat with something that I enjoy, and I'm like, it's kind of twisted. Why do I like it? You know, I know because I've done all my work where I've learned it, why I like it, how I was trained to like it. So then it's like, is it yucky? Is it safe? Is it good? 'Cause I like it, but I like it 'cause of yucky. So Jesus, it's really fucking complicated. But I don't know what I want to end this with, but what I want to advocate for, and this is my first time advocating for this publicly, is how hard it is to heal sexual trauma and be able to feel safe with a man, or be able to want to have sex, or to like enjoy it. So if you're going through that stuff, I'm definitely on my journey, and I know I'm in a place where I can like spill my guts about all this and still go home and have sex with my husband and be okay and safe and be great. But I have not been there, you know. There's been times where he's done such romantic stuff and I end up just sobbing, you know, because it's like it's scary when you're facing those demons. Especially when you learn all that shit as a kid and you don't know, and then it's just so complicated. Anyways, I am a facilitator for a workshop at this point, because this workshop has given me tools to overcome all of these things. And the unique thing about this workshop is, once you are a participant, you can come back and assist. And then if you really, really love it, you can facilitate. So when you come back and do the work and you sit in the shadows, you're not up there just like, yeah, hoorah, you got this. You're back there processing and sitting with it and going through all the fucking layers. And at the last Human Narrative, it was Greg up here, and he was talking about an onion. And I think I finished the rest of it in my head, but, you know, my brain. But if you're peeling through an onion and you're getting through all the layers, like when you get in the center, it's not chocolate. It's not like, ooh, yummy, delicious, I got to the center, I did it. No, it's just more fucking onion. It was the onion the whole time. So, like, if you're just like, yeah, I'm a fucking onion, it takes some of the pressure off. So, yeah. Let's see. Did I do it? Oh, why to do your healing journey? So, going through all of these things, it's like, why? Why would you face this shit? Let's just stuff it down, ignore it, you know, find other coping mechanisms. But I found so much freedom in my healing journey, and I'm able to sit up here and talk about all this stuff that people are so ashamed about talking about. They shut the doors and they just lock it up, and usually end up dying of diseases because their body just doesn't know how to process life. So I have found freedom in myself, in my choices, in my words, in my narrative, in my life. So that's why I would advocate for healing, as hard and stupid, annoying, and oh my gosh. It's not fun or beautiful. It is beautiful. Like at a certain point, you're like, okay, I can see the beauty. But if you're in the beginning and you need some tools, I have tons and tons and tons and tons of tools. I'll advocate for the workshop a bajillion million times. But yeah, do it anyways. That's my advice. Thank you.
And that's why I love this night. 'Cause shit gets ugly. and we cry about it, and we laugh about it, and we share about it, and we learn how to move through it together. Yeah, and then it gets beautiful. So, who wants to go next? You know, I was thinking, Scott. You ready, baby? Right. So, so Scott is he is a very beautiful friend of mine. He is a mentor of mine, and we meet every week to solve all the problems of the world in a Cracker Barrel restaurant. And to see two giant men sitting there crying and shit in the middle of Cracker Barrel is fucking funny, because sometimes old people is just fucking dead ass looking at me like I'm crazy just because they looking at me like I'm crazy. And then we start crying, and I don't know what the fuck they're thinking because we're crying. But I met him through the Way Through workshop. It was before Zen was even born, so it was over 2 years ago now. And I was hoping to get fixed. And I didn't, because you never get fixed right away. But it was fixing. I learned, I got tools. I got tools to learn how to fix. Because you can't just go somewhere and get the get skinny pill or the get rich quick pill, or, you know, get healed fast pill. But he's one of the most brilliant people that I know when it comes to healing and navigating someone's self emotions, and all kinds of wacky shit. So, without further ado, my man Scott Donnet, he is going to share his beautiful self and stories of healing. And also, he's where I learned to hug really long and weird. Because when you go to workshop, they do these really weird fucking long hugs. And like we all like breathe together and shit. And it's really fucking odd, but like also really nice. And then when you're around regular huggers, you're like those fucking muggles. So yeah, it's very odd and beautiful.
Thank you, brother. So the light thing, we do that at the workshop too. It never gets easier. I've been standing in front of lights for 35 years. It doesn't get easier. Oh yeah, no, I get it. It's not even for that other stuff. No, I know it's actually a thing that people in this business do. That's the only reason we do it. So I think there'll probably be some other folks that'll share about workshop. You'll be able to connect in with them and ask any questions that you might have, should you have any. I really want to stay with the program. I was, and maybe still will, talk about probably one of my most cathartic healing experiences, but Kiki went down and dirty, so I just want to advocate just for a moment for men, for boys, for you fellas out there who were sexually abused, sexually messed with, manipulated, diddled, dangled, touched in an inappropriate way, used, manipulated by other people when you were a child. It wasn't fucking okay. And you don't have to keep it a secret. You never had to, but we thought we did. Let the secret out, and it will no longer run you. Here's the other piece to that. When you're ready to do that, find the right fucking person. Find the person who can hold the information, who can hold the pain, because you don't want to perpetuate what happened to you. You want to let it go. So I was 2 or 3 when it started happening to me. It happened multiple times like it does to most of us. And then it became really difficult to be sexually pleasured by my first wife. She was like, "Why do you not like a blowjob, dude? What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you gay?" And I said, "If I was, would that be okay?" Because I didn't really know. I wasn't really sure. Because the second and third and fourth time that I got molested and messed with, it was by men. How does that feel? How do you walk around in that? How do you then access your own personal sexuality as a human being, as a man, as a woman, as a man attracted to men, as a man attracted to women? How do you access now that passion and that wonder without wondering if you're going to access the anger and the rage and the hurt that sits inside of you as well? What about when you're about to have kids? And then the first one comes and your first fear is that you'll hurt them. Not that you won't be a good dad, but that you'll hurt them. So, don't keep the secret. Don't keep the secret. That was a lie. Nothing will happen. The world won't crush you or anyone else if you tell the secret. That person, those people, they lied to us. Nothing will happen if you tell the secret. Tell it to good people who can hold your pain. So it was 1993. At that point, I was 7 years sober. I had already done my first way through workshop. At that time, it was called Creative Insight Arts. I had met my mentor and was actively diving into what is this healing journey. I had had a therapist for 5 years. I'd done a bunch of work. I was just diving into men's work. And I thought I was going to dabble in really understanding and getting to get a clear idea of what it looked like to be a man. Because my mom was my abuser, but my dad was the enabler. The go to work, never come home, and when I did, I'll beat the shit out of my kids because my wife told me they were bad. So when I got to my first men's group, I was raw. I didn't know what that looked like. Well, I found a group of guys who just accepted me for exactly who I was. It was one of the most beautiful, transformative, very gentle, non-intrusive, not very deep, light, kind of touched my toe into the water and said, ooh. I went home, I gathered up all my buddies, and like 10 of us went back the next year. So there's me and my buddies, and a couple of my buddies brought their dad. And we thought that was really cool. How, oh man, your dad, he's going to come. That's so cool. Right? That's neato. And then it was like, to the dads, it's like, way to go, Dad. You're showing up for your kid. That's cool. So we got there and we do this whole weekend. And again, it's powerful. I got all my buddies there. We're doing anger work. We're doing grief work. We're looking into other men's eyes, and there's no judgment. And it's this powerful, powerful weekend. And we get to Sunday. And one of my buddies goes up into the middle of the circle. He'd like, I'd like all the dads and the sons who came together this weekend to join us in the middle of the circle. Well, I'm sitting there on the edge of the circle. I'm kind of a sit close, but off to the side kind of guy because I'm big. I want everybody else to be able to see, but I want to be right up front there. I want to be in the shit, you know. I want to see what's going on. I want to get some on me, right? So all these young guys are walking up, and behind them are coming their dads. And there's not like 2 or 3 of them. There's like 40 of them. And all of a sudden, I just lose my shit. I don't know what the fuck happened to me. I don't know what is happening to me. I'm shaking. I'm crying. I'm hysterical. I'm on the ground. I can't stand up. I can't talk. I can't verbalize what's happening to me without saying a word. 5 guys walk over, pick me up. Just pick me up like a log. Bunch of old guys come out from the center of the circle. Not the fathers, because they're still gathering, right? They're still gathering in the center of the circle. One of my best buddies is up there talking. He's talking about his dad and how much he loves his dad, right? I'm fucking like vibrating all over the floor. They pick me up. They lay me across the legs of these 4 old guys. And for the next half hour, they pet me. They tell me I'm beautiful, that I'm wonderful, that I'm strong, that I matter, that they believe in me, that this world would not be okay without me in it, that I matter, that my daddy loved me so much. And I sat for that until I stopped sobbing, and I stood up, and those men held me, long hug, big hug, got in there to where we were all just vibrating again. It was the most powerful cathartic experience that I've ever had in my life. And I had it in the presence of men. And it was beautiful and it was wonderful. Oh.
The shitty part about being the MC is when you start fucking crying. Oh, wow. Yeah, who's next? I'll just go there. How about that? All right. So Karen's fucking awesome. First time she showed up, I knew she needed to speak, but I was afraid to fucking call on her too hard because I felt like she might have not been ready. I got her a little too stoned beforehand, and I didn't mean to. And then at the end, it'd be like that. And at the end, she asked me to sit with her the next time so I could, sit in front of her and she could speak kind of like interview style because she needed somebody's energy. And it was a couple seconds before she didn't really need me anymore. And then the next time, she asked me to sit there again just because I think she was afraid of being afraid. She didn't need me. Now she doesn't fucking need me at all. Not to speak. You can do this all alone. It's been amazing. You're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're amazing. Miss Karen Zaccaroli. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was going to do a different healing story tonight, and then a couple of weeks ago it changed, and now I'm going to kind of combine them a little bit after hearing what I've heard already. So I too was sexually abused as a child, which put me into very dysfunctional relationships as an adult, which most of the time those relationships I was in very dysfunctional places, being used, abused in different ways, but similar ways to my childhood. And decades of different layers of the journey of healing and processing and understanding myself, people, humans in general. And I've finally gotten to a place where I feel like I've learned so much. And last month I didn't quite put this in there when we talked about love, but I had a hard time with that one, and that's because I never really have experienced healthy love in a relationship. I haven't taken all the things I've learned and the boundaries that boy, have I learned boundaries that I never had before. A lot of that is thanks to Scott and the way through. that was huge for me, speaking my truth and learning boundaries. So I've had layers of decades of different learning experiences and figuring myself out and other people out, learning boundaries and that it's okay to have them. But I just haven't had the opportunity to actually experience healthy love in a romantic type relationship, which is fine. So a couple of weeks ago, I came in for the school drive. And I got my first tattoo. Thank you, Robbie. I've wanted to do a bunch of different symbols on myself for a long time. Number one, petrified of needles. And the whole tattoo thought and experience was very scary for me. So when I did the drive, I came in and honestly didn't know that my donation was actually going to equal a tattoo. I was just coming in to help out. So when they offered me the book, and I was like, oh, because when I talked to Robbie months ago, he's like, I don't do little. Okay. So
Until we have those days and you catch me at the time.
yes, right. So in my mind, I'm like, wow, when I do, because I have a lot of symbology I would like to have put on me, probably a half a sleeve worth, maybe more, I don't know. Yeah. And so the scary thing was jumping into that without ever having one. So I got to get my first Robbie tattoo a couple weeks ago. And when I came in and saw the different things I could choose from, the butterfly was my first attraction. That is one of the symbols that I have wanted to put on me for a long time because it has to do with somebody who's passed on. But the heart, for some reason, was also speaking to me. And that's not a symbol that I ever considered putting on when I do all the work I want done. And I couldn't decide which one I wanted. Now, the butterfly I wanted to have because of the symbology of all the people who have passed on. That was one of them. But the heart was just something new, and I couldn't decide which of the two I wanted. And so when I got back with Robbie, he's looking at him and he's like, why don't we just combine them? And I was like, cool. Now I don't have to pick. So after he was done, we were speaking in the hall in the back here for a little bit before I left, and nothing major. I mean, we bantered for a few minutes, and you said a few things that at the moment they made sense, but they didn't really hit me until the next day when I was looking at my tattoo, which I love. Thank you. It was my first taste, and I'm like, I can do this. I can do the needles after all. I didn't think I'd be able to. But as I was looking at it the next day, our conversation started coming back to me. And all of a sudden, your words and the heart with the butterfly suddenly hit me in a different way. And I'm left-handed, so I see this constantly. And it's a reminder for me of the transformation of where I finally am in my journey, to open my heart to the possibility of whatever comes next. And to always remind myself to keep myself in a place of openness and love and healing and transforming. So the heart with the butterfly is my constant heart transforming every day, every minute. And when I look at this, it's my constant reminder. And I thank you. Sometimes the little things, Robbie, are big for somebody else. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't tattoo often. I tattoo like 2 to 3 days a week, so I like to keep it to large stuff. And then so many times when I have moments where I am doing little tattoos, I get those reminders. you know, because for me, everything got to be bigger, better, faster, more, right? I can't fucking heal you with a tiny tattoo. That's poppycock. That's crazy. Who the fuck heals with small tattoos? Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, oh, you want some words on your chest? Why don't we cover like your whole entire torso? You know, so it's cool to realize not everything does need to be a grand gesture. And that's fucking shit I tell people all the time. You know, it doesn't have to be a grand gesture. But here we are. Who's next? Yeah? All right. So this is Mrs. Scott, or actually, Scott could be Mr. Becky. So I met Becky at the Way Through workshop, and I was intimidated as fuck by this little person. And I thought she hated me. And then by the end of the weekend, she gave me a big long hug and told me she loved me, and I was like, oh my God. So you're about to feel the power of Becky Bolt.
Thank you, Robbie. I have to say, when you came to workshop that first time and you walked in, I went, holy shit. I learned a whole lot about judgment that day, because by the end of the weekend, I did love you immensely.
So you did hate me. I was right.
I didn't hate you. No, I did not hate you. I was just sort of, let's say, flabbergasted. Yeah, okay. Like, wow. When I heard the topic, I was like, I wasn't even sure that I would want to say anything, but I was thinking about it, and this one word kept coming to me along with healing, and that was feeling, just over and over, feeling. And I couldn't figure out what it meant until a couple of days ago. And I think what I want to say is that when you're hurt, whether it's physical, but particularly the emotional and mental abuse that a lot of people have endured, you can't deal with it until you feel it. You got to feel it first, and then you can heal it. You've got choices. You can shove it down. We've talked about that a little bit. You can shove it down, and like Kiki said, that just makes you sick. You can ignore it, and I think that's worse, really. Or you can feel it, and you can face it. And another thing that I want to say is that we've heard a lot of things from people that have had terrible, abusive things happen to them. I wasn't raised that way. I was like who was it that said the first thing, you know, great parents, good childhood, all that stuff. That was my life, pretty much. Now, by the time I got to college, and maybe it was my childhood was too good, I didn't realize what the world was going to be, and I went a little bit off the deep end. But all in all, I've been blessed my whole life. But I still have things that I've done and that have happened to me that I have to face, I have to feel, and they might not be as big or dramatic or anything like that, but you still need to face those things, and you need to feel them, even if we have so many people come to the workshop, and people get up on and talk about things, and they'll say, well, I shouldn't even be here. My stuff isn't that bad. If it's hurting you, it's that bad. And you need to feel it, and you need to face it and deal with it. And don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about how it compares to anybody else's. If it's impacting you and it's impacting the people around you, then it's something that you gotta feel, so that you can deal and you can heal. Amen. At least you didn't call me Mrs. Foot Guy.
You don't give me ammunition like that. So I have this overwhelming feeling that I need to go next. So I'm Robbie Rapole. This is my tattoo shop, Rad Ink. I have wanted to close this place more times than I can fucking count in the past 6 months to a year. September of last year, right before Free Love Day, 4 people that have been stealing over $100,000 from us quit to try and ruin my Free Love Day event. And since then, it has been an uphill battle. And nights like tonight are a huge reason why I keep this motherfucker open. You know, clients that tell me, please don't close, please keep this place alive. I don't just love you, I love the vibe, I love the building, I love the things that you do here. I am really big on changing people's fucking lives. I love that shit. I couldn't get the blue check mark on Instagram for the longest time because my name on there was Let's Change the World instead of Robbie Rapole. So I couldn't figure out why they wouldn't fucking verify me. But Let's Change the World has been a thing for me for years. And I didn't really know what I was going to say tonight. I never know what I'm going to say. It's funny, I giggle at you guys when you talk about, I had these concepts and these ideas, and I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to plan anything because I know it's all going to fall to shit as soon as I start talking. So for me, my healing journey, I think we've all been on a healing journey our whole fucking lives. But I got wind that I was on my healing journey when somebody, a guy named Brooklyn Rob on Facebook recommends to me, hey man, you need this fucking book, The Celestine Prophecy. And it's a really cool book, and it's a book on spirituality, but it's written like an adventure novel. And when I read that book, it changed my life. It opened up this whole concept for me to like start reading more and like just digging into spirituality more. And that book had me fucking enthralled, and I was like on the edge of my seat. And then years later, I seen the movie, and I was like, now I know why people don't like fucking watching movies after they read books, because that movie sucked dick. That movie was nowhere near as cool as that book was, because my brain made it fucking nuts. And it took me weeks to read the book, but this movie happened in 2 hours, and they didn't have anywhere near the visuals that I created. So like that that movie, I mean, that book really opened my eyes up to this like spirituality world. But like earlier than that, my dad was a fucking intuitive healer. This motherfucker could heal anybody like all the time. He did reflexology. He put crystals all fucking up and down your chakras. He'd fucking just look at you and tell you what you needed to hear and then fucking laugh at you and walk away. And you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, my dad was a really brilliant intuitive healer, but he was always afraid to step into his healing role. He would do the magic when he felt safe and comfortable, but he wouldn't do the magic for everyone. And he was a very mean, scary guy, but he was a very loving, healing guy. So I've been having this duality inside of me where I think it's cool to be tough and strong and scary and beat people up, which is something I never really did, but like I really like, if you piss me off, I want to beat you up. That's just like the first thing I think of. What's that? But at the end of the day, that's a part of me that needs to heal, right? You don't need to beat people up. You just need to stop beating yourself up. Because I'm fucking hard on myself. Like, y'all don't even fucking know how hard I am on myself. If you've ever been in a role where I was in a leadership position around you and I was hard on you, that's me being fucking nice compared to the shit I do to myself. So I've always walked around thinking that, like, I'm nice to folk. I don't know why the fuck you crying. I just told you the truth. Man up. Right? Like, and you should hear the way I talk to myself, because this is nice compared to how I do it in here. And so I've been on this weird journey not knowing I've been on this healing journey. And then like words like healing journey, safe space, and things like your tribe, your vibe attract your tribe, all this shit made me fucking ill. I was like, ew, you guys are fucking stupid. These words are dumb. They're just fucking buzzwords. It's just fucking virtue signaling. You're not actually doing anything. Fuck your stupid words. Holding space. Fuck. The first time somebody told me you're good at holding space, they made me their enemy like 3 months later. I was like, why the fuck would you tell me nice things and then hate me? So like I've got like a lot of negative attachments to these words. And then I feel fucking stupid because my dad, you know, he was a healer in private. So, like, it's kind of like masturbating in a way. Like, you don't want nobody to see that. You know, like, I don't want you to fucking see me doing healing shit. That's fucking weird, dog. Like, so, like, I would run around being this fucking natural intuitive healer, not realizing that's what I was fucking doing. And then somewhere along the line, I realized, holy shit, man, I'm an intuitive healer. That's fucking weird. So I've been leaning into this healing shit for a while. But, like, I also hated it. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was useless. I thought, like, there's no actual real good here. I'm just saying stupid words that don't make sense. And I'm trying to believe in shit that's not real. And that's not real. That's the lie, right? That's the lie you tell yourself. That's the lie we all tell ourselves. That's the lie that society has told us, that you can't get better. You can't get a one-up on yourself. You can't be better than you were yesterday. You can't fucking win. And so with healing, I've been going through this thing where I just don't feel like I can win. But the whole time, I got motherfuckers on the internet telling me, Robbie, you're so great. Look at all the things you do. You're such a winner. Holy shit, you saved my life. Like, the first bunch of times folk told me that I saved their life, I was like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I literally thought that they were stupid as shit. And they just told me that I saved their fucking life, so I can't tell them you're fucking stupid. But, like, in my heart and in my head, I'm like, you're fucking stupid. And that's one of the weird parts about being on my healing journey. I needed to heal. I needed to heal the shit that they were touching because I wanted to be a healer. I wanted to change the fucking world. I wanted to make the world a better place. But when you told me I was doing that, you're a fucking idiot because obviously I'm not good enough because you don't know all the mean shit I say to myself all day long. And so now I'm on this weird fucking, I'm in this weird place. I'm in a really, really, really weird place where magical, beautiful, brilliant, life-changing, earth-shattering things happen to me on a regular basis. And then also miserable, terrible, fucked up, life-shattering things happen to me on a regular basis. And sometimes them bitches happen simultaneously. I'm bawling my dick off and then all of a sudden something beautiful fucking happens and I'm like, how? What? And I'm so literally right now in my life, I am so fucking confused about what my journey really is. And then I get the message, hey, you saved my life. And I'm like, fuck. Because now I'm like, shit, you serious? I did that, huh? Because like that mask is gone. That fear of like you telling me I'm good enough is gone. Because I know I'm fucking good enough. Even though I like have this problem believing I'm good enough, right? Like, now I'm learning that part of the healing journey is being able to say, yeah, I'm good enough. And that hurts to say. Inside Out 2, spoiler alert, she fucking, anxiety runs the fucking board and she's fucking running around in circles so fast that she's not even visible. It's just a blur and I was losing my shit. Because so many times I find myself in my mind running around in a fucking blur, not knowing what's going on, and that becomes my reality. And then I realize feeling is part of healing. It's what you do, right? No, that was Kiki. It was Becky. I forget it. You know, I start to feel, and then I hate how I feel. So I'm like, fuck, all right, you're not allowed to hate how you feel. You're supposed to use that as an indicator, you stupid fuck. That's the thing about getting smart. Don't get smart. Don't ever get smart. The second you get hip to what's going on in there, now you got work to do, bitch. So the thing with healing is now I realize, fuck, I'm feeling. I can't be like, fuck this feeling. I have to be like, what is it that I'm feeling? Why am I saying fuck this feeling? And how can I move through this? Instead of how can I stop this? And then, you know, it's like I get in this fucking tug of war with myself where like, I'm like, no, I don't want to feel this. And it's like, motherfucker, you got to. And it's just this really weird thing. And I feel like this duality, this polarity that we all have is so fucking necessary. And so, like, part of my healing journey is accepting that it hurts. It fucking hurts. When I was losing my leg, I remember sitting in the hospital being like, I have been just this miserable with 2 fucking legs. So how the fuck do I learn how to get okay being this fucking miserable? Because 2 weeks prior, we had just bought a fucking RV and I should have been living my best life. And I was more terrified then than when I was lying up with a broke ass leg. So now I'm like, fuck, man. Like, this isn't even my rock bottom. Holy shit. So healing is this ugly thing. And when I was losing my leg and when I was healing through losing my leg, that was bullshit. Healing something is fucking bullshit. Because you want to get to healed, right? Because healed is sexy. Healed is shiny. Healed is rich and famous and strong and beautiful and everything that's fucking right with the world. But healing is everything the opposite of that. So while I'm healing this fucking thing, I'm learning what healing really looks like. And that's fucked. Healing is one of the ugliest places you'll ever go to. And it's a place you'll always continue to revisit. I remember one time I had one of the most beautiful fucking days at a workshop before I had met y'all. I was with a mentor at a time that turned out to be the guy to teach you how to not do a lot of things. But because I was in such a scared pain point place, I was following him around like a lost puppy. So he brings me to this fucking place and we do this workshop, and the workshop was beautiful. I thought it was brilliant. And then after the workshop, we're sitting around talking, and one of the dudes said some real ass shit about healing. He's like, so the worst thing about healing I've noticed is you start to heal, right? And then it's awesome, and then it fucking sucks. As soon as you open up the door to healing, it hurts again. You don't open the door to healing and get healed. You open the door to healing and get all your fucking problems, all the fucking skeletons you've been hiding in your closet, all the shit you've been fucking running from. That's what happens when you decide to start healing. I did Sweat Lodge with y'all, and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to feel better. I fucking know better. Every fucking time I do some wild-ass healing shit, I know better. I go to do a suspension, I put some hooks in me, and I fucking come off the ground, and I'm like, yay, I don't feel anything. Fuck, oh God. This is gonna uncork all kinds of fucked up shit, and now I'm gonna have to apologize to Donna a whole lot the next few weeks because I am fucking up everywhere. So as soon as you like take the keys to the kingdom of healing, the person that hands you the keys runs the fuck away because they don't want to fucking feel healing. Because healing is one of the ugliest fucking things you'll ever fucking do. It's one of the most painful, scariest places you'll ever fucking visit. And you can't not go back. So you're like, oh, healed. Oh, more healing. Fuck no, don't do this. I was on a fucking mushroom trip one time looking for fucking lessons and healing. And we're like 2 hours before I fucking hit the breakthrough, I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. The homie that was like guiding me through it, you know, because he'd done way more mushrooms than me, and he was also looking to learn that day. He looks at me, he goes, hey man, how you doing? I'm like, you know, like I had just fucking put on my water leg while I was fucking tripping balls, and that was fucking weird. So, like, I'm all like, oh, God, just changed my fucking leg, and, you know, I'm just, like, weirded out. And he's like, you okay, man? You don't want to be on this ride anymore? And I'm like, no, yes, no. No, and that's when I fucking realized I am the king of buying tickets for rides I don't want to motherfucking go on. I'm like, give me all the mushrooms, bitch. I used to fucking eat acid and get a pedicure. Now I'm like, oh, God, it's going to open up weird shit. Then I fucking talked to the aliens, fucking talked to my dead dad, found compassion for my son, and then fucking sat there and looking down at this weird plastic foot, repetitively saying thank you on autopilot on accident. Because I fucking let it out, man. I fucking went to the fucking gate, and I got punched in the motherfucking face with all the tears and all the emotions. And I talked to the aliens, bitch. I'm saying I talked to the aliens. They were fucking there in my Kia Telluride with me. They ain't said a goddamn word to me, but we talked for a while. And that was like the coolest part of the beginning of the ride. You know, then I fucking summoned dolphins and manatees and shit, and I'm playing with the dude, I swear to God, I seen dolphins. I was like, you come play with me. And they did, and I was like, oh God, don't touch me. And then a fucking manatee, right, buying tickets, don't want to ride. Fucking manatee comes over and fucking hits the floor next to me. I feel the floor shaking. I'm like, I got 1 foot. Why am I feeling the floor shaking? This is bullshit. And then we realized, oh, it's manatee. So like, but like this was shortly after me breaking, fucking completely breaking. Like I sent them all the fuck away. My man Dave was like, let me stay with you. I'm like, no, leave me alone. And Donna, I was like, I took a hug. I needed a hug, but I was like, go. I don't need you guys. I can't with you right now. I need to go and fucking do this alone. I heard this thing not long ago. If you feel a need to heal alone and handle things alone, it's probably because as a child you had to deal with things, handle things, and fix things alone. I was a sad little fat kid that nobody really wanted to be around because they all had too much shit going on in their life. And I smiled a lot more than most people, so they thought I was good. I smiled because I knew we needed love. And I'm the one that needed love the most. And that dude that threw that workshop, he told me one time that I was a unicorn that lived in a house with no mirrors and no one to tell me I was a unicorn. No one told me that I was a magical being. Nobody let me realize I was a magical being. I didn't have no mirrors to realize I was a magical being. So as this child, I was amazing and didn't fucking know it. And I always make fun of girls, like, they look at old pictures and they're like, oh, I was so skinny back then and I was so pretty. I should have never felt that way. And I find myself doing the same thing. I was like, I was a really cute kid. I was a really handsome young man. What the fuck did I hate myself for so much throughout this journey? And so part of my healing journey now is just listening to the truth instead of the lies that I've force-fed myself. Because remember at the beginning where I said I'm real hard on myself? That's just me force-feeding lies. And when you force-feed bullshit, it hurts. It tastes bad. It feels bad. And so now I'm learning to actually drink the nectar of the gods, which is the truth. I am beautiful. I am fucking magical. I am a magical motherfucker. There's a reason why I created fucking the Rad Academy powered by the magical motherfucker method, where we teach you how to fucking find your magic. And that is how you can become the next best version of self. And I stopped doing that class after one class because I didn't believe I did a good enough job. I didn't believe that I could actually facilitate healing, which is bullshit. These motherfuckers tell me all the time I saved their lives and I can't facilitate healing? She's forcing me to believe I fucking helped her heal with a small ass tattoo. I had a woman go through a fucking emotional break that same day shortly after your tattoo, doing a small one on her. I'm motherfucking magic. And I don't fucking believe it more often than I should. I should believe it more, but I don't believe it a lot. So, my biggest part of my healing journey right now, letting the secret out, right? Because I didn't get molested. But I'm fucked up in the head from a lot of other shit. So I have to let my secret out. That I'm afraid of y'all finding out that I suck. I'm afraid y'all are going to find out Robbie's not a good person. I've had some really fucking negative speech patterns. I've been a really abusive fucking human. I've been terrible to myself and others. I've fucking put guns to people's fucking heads. I fucking kicked people while they were down because I threw them down. And instead of believing that that's my reality, I'm learning to believe that the magical motherfucker I am now is my reality. That fucking unicorn I was always afraid I wasn't is who I truly fucking am. And now I just realize that if it sucks or if it hurts or if I'm feeling, what am I healing? Then do some box breathing and I fucking drop my fucking headphones in and try to find a meditation that works. This morning the words were too fucking much, so I put on this fucking sound thing and it was better. And then sometimes the sound thing ain't good enough and I need the words. But I've been fucking meditating every morning for years and don't give myself enough credit because I wake up earlier than I actually wake up, pop some headphones in, throw a meditation on, and I call it cheating. I don't believe I'm meditating. That's bullshit. Right. Thank you for giving that face. Like, I do so much work and I fucking discount the work. Like, you know, oh, I shouldn't be here. My problems aren't big enough. My problems are fucking massive, just like everyone else's. I make fun of people all the time if they talk about having feet hurt because it must be nice to have two of them. But, you know, I was just talking about a friend today who died of cancer. And I remember a conversation we had before he died where he was giving me comfort and saying, I can't believe you went through something so huge. Thank you. And I'm like, bitch, you're dying of cancer. How are you telling me thank you and I went through something huge? I can fucking walk. You don't know if you're going to be alive. And he ain't no more. So we have this problem of diminishing our feelings. Let's not have a problem of diminishing our healing. We're all on a fucking healing journey. There's a reason why Chad needed to talk to me about this in person and make the human narrative a real thing. There's a reason why I said, fuck the human narrative after the first time we did it, and I'm never going to do it again. Oh God, it was so bad. We had a drunk, angry heckler that was yelling at my fucking baby, screaming looking at him saying, I can't hear. And I'm like, what the fuck? He can't understand you, lady. So like, the food truck didn't show. Everything went wrong. Everything went fucking wrong. My mom was here bitching about the fucking temperature. I'm like, Ma, shut up. So now I fucking feel bad that I yelled at my mother. Like, fuck. But the human narrative is a thing because healing is necessary and because I am a fucking natural healing facilitator. I just made fucking content with Zach the other day joking about being a fucking healer. Because like for so long, I hid. I hid from being a healer. I didn't want to be pompous and cocky and weird and icky. Like those fucking weird dudes that are like, oh, they're going to move in a commune together and I'm going to fuck all your wives and I'm a healer and I'm the next god. And I'm like, no, I can't be that guy. So every gross human that ever attached to the word healer, I felt like I was them if I used that word. God, that's a really fucking annoying journey to go on. That's a long road to wind down. So if you're on any road where you feel like, ew, ick because of this, as long as you can't prove that the ick because of this is factual and you're gross just like them, don't feel gross just like them. Lean into the beauty. I saw this thing the other day that said, if you can think about all of the bad things that could possibly go wrong, why don't you think about all the good things that could possibly go right? And I've really been trying to lean into that lately. So when I feel myself saying, fuck, you know, I just try and turn it around and be like, you know? And it's a weird ride. So if shit fucking sucks for you, that's all right. It's good. As Scott would say, yay. I see demons, let's slay them. Oh, you're in pain. So good. Yummy. Oh, chaos? Let's put some of that there. I'm like, fuck chaos. No, I need peace. I've been on a journey for peace. No, fuck you. You need chaos, bitch. That's how you get peace. Due to chaos. Like I used to think it was this really cool thing. If I could sit and meditate next to traffic, then I'd be the best. And I learned how to do that. But it doesn't mean you're better at anything in life. It just means you know how to meditate next to traffic. And then if you tap into what it was that helped you meditate next to traffic, then you get it. But, you know, if it's like ego lifting, I can meditate through anything. Well, can you not lose your shit in real life? Because that's real healing. When they fucking push you, and push you, and you're like, I fucking can't anymore. All right, but are you going to snap? Or are you going to fucking just be like, I meditated next to traffic. I got this. Because I've never once said that after I meditated next to traffic. Never once in the midst of all the chaos, I've been like, I meditated next to traffic. I got this. No. I've never done that. I thought losing my leg was going to make me tougher. It has. Still hurts. just means that I have something to prove to myself. So fuck you. You can't take that shit from me. You can't take away more than I've already had taken from me. And I'm not going to give that shit to you. So healing is ugly. Healed is pretty, but it's like kind of lame. Because like how many people are actually truthfully walking around being like, I am healed. Anytime somebody says, I'm healed, I'm like, you're a liar. And if you're not lying, you just don't realize how much healing you need to do, bitch. So like healing's an okay thing. Healing and feeling, they're ugly, they're gross, they're disgusting. They lead to healed. That's fucking fine. How many people walk around with their fucking gold medals on and fucking live in that every day? You think they're weird. So you can't walk around in the one moment that you healed being like, I'm healed. Because it doesn't work like that. Go back to the beginning every time. Oh, I'm healing again. Fuck. Just buckle up. That's it. So if you feel some healing coming on, buckle up. If you feel some healed coming on, celebrate. But don't expect that bitch to be there every day. Healed don't stick around too long. Healed's like, hey, gotta go to poker, fuck you. You know, like, healed don't kick it with you all the time. You bring it, you carry it, but it's in your backpack. It's a pen you haven't used forever. And one day you're lucky you have a pen on you. That's what healed is. Healing is all the other shit inside your backpack. So just remember, it's okay to hurt. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be healing because we are all fucking actively healing. And when you are healing, you are feeling, and that's okay. I'm Robbie Rapole. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Sit down. I just want to say how much you've impacted my healing journey. Like, my whole advocacy, my mental health advocacy would not have been where it's at without you. That you helped me through my mom's death. You helped me through my house catching on fire. You helped Megan get her gastric bypass surgery. I was in Chicago, and my house burned down, and I'm sitting in the gym in Chicago in a hotel miles away from my burned down house. And I texted Robbie, I'm like, hey, the video that we shot, it's glitchy. And he texted me back, he's like, I hope you're not breaking. I called him, he's like, I hope you're not having a breakdown. It's like, no, I'm okay. I just wanted to let you know what we shot is kind of glitchy. But no, you've played a huge part in who I am today, and I just want to say I appreciate you.
Which makes me have to say, you are affecting more people than you fucking realize in more ways than you realize. That's some real shit. Quick story. I had a friend call me one time. He goes, do you know a guy that used to be homeless named John that lives in Lafayette, Indiana? I said, absolutely fucking not. Why? He goes, well, that guy just fucking found me on the street. Said, do you know Robbie Rapole? And I said, yes, that's my friend. He goes, well, Robbie Rapole is the fucking reason why I have a job and I'm not homeless anymore and have a place to live. And I still don't fucking know who John was. So, John, if you're watching, holler at me, homie. Like, I walked around Lafayette, Indiana drunk a lot. So it could have just been like a drunk Robbie speech, like, believe in yourself, homie. And I think I gave him $20 or something one night. And that $20 and that believe in yourself, homie, changed his fucking life. I would have never known that if my man Zach up there hadn't told me that. So I don't know how many John the homeless guys y'all have, but every single one of us in the room has at least one John the homeless guy. So remember that shit. All right, so who's next? Oh, Mr. Brandon Miles. All right, so this young fucker, he came to live with us a little over a year ago. And it's really wild how, you know, like they say with the rescue and the puppies, who rescued who? We brought this dude in, you know, because he needed a place to stay and he was like having a hard time in life. And he's become one of my favorite people to receive inspiration from. When I was painting Zen's room and I was panicking every fucking time I turned around, he always knew and he just came in and dropped some science on me, gave me some love, walked away. Every time I'm fucking feeling real low, he fucking reminds me. He's like, dude, you just popped up on my feed over here. Dude, you're so fucking famous. Like, it is really fucking funny the amount of things this dude has helped me heal in my life. So, thanks for speaking, dog. Mr. Brandon Miles.
Was not expecting to do this tonight, but I never usually am with stuff like this, so, here we go. I kind of got the idea that I was going to want to talk after Scott did, just because what you said really hit me, and I appreciate everything that you said. I went through very similar things, sexual trauma when I was young, started when I was like 6, 7 years old. And that shit is hard, and it does make you question a lot of things about yourself growing up, especially when it starts that young. And it is hard to get through and work through and deal with and figure out how you're going to be okay after all of that shit. But you do hit a point in your life where you make the decision, do I want to be miserable for the rest of my life, or do I want to actually try and just be better? And I hit a point, as a teenager, I was avoided everything, you know what I mean? My aunt asked me if I wanted to go to therapy once when I was in 8th grade or something. I was just like, no. And she was like, okay. And then that was the last conversation about mental health I think we ever had, to be honest. And so I just ignored it, even though from a young age I knew there was something wrong, you know what I mean? Just nothing ever felt right. I never felt comfortable. And that continued until I was, in my early 20s. When I was in college, I just dropped out of college, was broke, figuring out how to pay rent. I was in a relationship, but it was going downhill fast because of both of our mental health problems. And it hit a breaking point. And I threw away an apartment, I threw away a job, I threw away a relationship, fucked off to a different state the next day, and just went fucking sideways completely. And after all that went down and I kind of came out of that and realized what I had done, I never want that to happen again. I never want to put myself through that again. I never want to put somebody else through that again. And I knew from there that there was going to be a long, long fucking process of healing and getting through all of the things that I went through with my family and my trauma and everything. And even though I knew I wanted to do something about it, I was still stagnant for another 2 years. I didn't actually, make any real conscientious efforts to make a difference. I just kind of sat there in self-pity, as, I'm sure we all do at points in our life. And it honestly wasn't really until I moved here and got around Robbie and Donna and Zen and, Ben and Jaden and everybody, and just realized that life could be better and there was fucking hope for once, and not every day was just fighting for survival and acceptance and validation and just, being comfortable to do the things that you want to do, whether they're making music or streaming on Twitch or fucking, tattooing or literally anything. I didn't know I wanted to stream until I was just like, I think I'm going to try streaming again one day. And Robbie was like, do it. But stick to it and do it. And I did. And I make some money every month doing it just because I stuck with it. $70 a month. That never was even something that I considered being possible before I started this journey and before I got here and met all these amazing people and met everybody that told me I was enough and told me that, I have something to offer and that I'm wanted and I'm valued, and I just appreciate that, and I appreciate everything you guys have done for me. That's it.
fuckers keep getting me tonight. All right, who's next? One of our newest regular speakers. I met Abel in downtown Melbourne when I was leaving Backwater one day, and he screams, "Hi, Robbie, it's me, Abel," and I had no idea who he was. And then I was like, "Who the fuck is this very, very boisterous, kind person?" And then we got to know each other, and now I feel like we love each other. So Abel has become one of our regular speakers, and he always brings love and beauty and honesty and vulnerability. And, you know, that extra dash of cute. So, period, bitch. Abel Buskirk.
Thank you so much. Oh, magic. They used to call me Mary Poppins in high school, and I guess I still kind of pull it off, right? Thank you so much, Robbie and Chad, for allowing me to do this. And Zach, thank you for always making me look like I'm fucking Farrah Fawcett on TV. So, I brought some props today. Actually wrote some things down, which I'm excited to talk about. So, healing. When I saw that healing was a prompt for today, man, so many things went through my head. How do we even start that? It's funny because when it comes to healing, we don't even know how to navigate that to begin with, right? And when we start healing, we think, okay, what's the starting point? Who do I talk to? What do I do? So recently, I've been really getting into my Bible, and I promise I'm not trying to do no Bible thumping Jehovah Witness stuff. I promise, just give me grace. Give me this couple minutes, okay? So I went to Elevation Church last year, and you know, growing up Roman Catholic, I went to church and I always got looked at weird. And then I started my transition from female to male, and now I'm this beautiful in-between tooth fairy, and I'm okay with that. But I got shunned out from the church. And after that, I was like, I have nowhere to go. So I found this church with amazing music, and I headbang to them, and I give myself fucking vertigo every Sunday, and I love it. But I said, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself to finally read a little bit of the word here. My wife is saying to me that I'm going to be Pastor Abel for years, and I'm like, you're fucking joking. Like, look at me. And I think she might be onto something. So, you ever start healing and you're crying and you feel like you're knocking into a wall and you don't know what's next and you want to pray and you can't even get out Our Father and you're just stuck? Well, I said, Lord, you know, give me a sign. What can I say today? So I got Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. You know, when you're small and you cut your knee, your parents go, oh my God, come to me, let me help you. Come. I have a godson who's 5, and although he gets overstimulated with mulch, I have a habit of keep putting him in the fucking mulch when we go to the park, but every time he gets overstimulated, I say, come. He calls me Papa. I go, come to Papa. And I realized in those moments when I don't know how to be in depth, I know to come to him. And I know when I'm weary and heavy burdened, I can come to him and he will give me rest. And the message I got from that, this is my fuzzy pink notebook that I love. I kind of want to lick it, but I'm not going to. I'm sorry, I have ADHD. I'm a little creepy. I've had a migraine for 9 hours today so far, so bear with me. But I called my wife and I said, bitch, if I have to crawl here tonight, I will. I slept in my shop today and I said, I'm coming. Okay. So when I read that, it offers a direct invitation to find peace and comfort in him, no matter how heavy our hearts are. And come to me becomes a lifeline That's my 911, which I actually did call one time, was a suicide hotline, and the lady laughed at me on the phone. So this is starting to become my 911. It's not just a comforting cliche. It's an invitation to seek refuge and renewal from the source of all peace. So I just wanted to share that with you, and this is a big milestone for me to do this tonight, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you, and I love you all, and we all start somewhere. So come to me, come to a friend, come to Source. They're with you. Thank you.
Yeah, so that Pastor Abel thing's probably gonna happen because when you're like fuck no, fuck no, fuck no, yeah, it happens. So it is that time of the night, huh? Yeah, I was thinking that the amount of people that need somebody like you who's been everything a lot of churches say no to, up there with your pink fuzzy notebook licking that motherfucker, like. Praise God, friend, Wait, did you say gay men? No, I didn't. Oh. I totally thought. Gay men, y'all. The Church of Gay Men. I'm sorry. I hope that was politically correct, and I don't want to be offensive to anyone. But I feel like, similar to you being a pastor is similar to me being called to doing this human narrative stuff and all the other things we do. Like, you guys have a church, like, I'm sure you didn't wake up, 30 years ago and be like, we're going to have a multi-faith church one day, but here we are. Yeah. Who's next? How about that? Ashley. Who I don't use her last name because she don't like me using the government. Come on up, Ashley. Oh, so Ashley, she came to the event one time, and I had no idea who she was. And, Chad said, oh, yeah, it's my friend Ashley. I'm like, all right, cool. And then she spoke, and I was like, ooh, all right, then, that's the homie. We both grew up fat kids. We both are Scorpios. We both... Right, and we're both like peace and love and fuck around and find out. So, the little homie Ashley, everybody.
Okay. So tonight I'm gonna start with a story. I ain't fucking sitting. Okay, so, I do want to start off with a story since Abel talked about God. I want to say this. I was on the way to the beach the other morning because when I need some peace in my life, that's where the fuck I go. I'm Scorpio, so I love being in the water. I'm scared to death of that shit, but yeah, go to that bitch and call the waves to you. They'll get bigger. You're like, holy shit. So yeah, and on the way there, I was crying and I was just going through some shit. I'm always going through some shit. I was like, God, I need to hear you. Listen, you made that eagle come to that one guy. Like, I need to hear you. I need to hear some shit, I don't think you're listening sometimes, so let me know you're listening. And I get there, and I'm like, wading in the water or whatever, and I see a fucking butterfly, and he's like tumbling in the water, and I'm like, holy shit, God, let me save him. So I scooped him up, and he sat on my hand for like 45 fucking minutes. Drying. He had a damaged wing, and I was like losing my shit. Do I take him home? Do I leave him here? Can they fly with damaged wings? Google, can they fly with damaged wings? I'm just going through all the motions with this fucking butterfly, and he's just sitting on my hand, and I'm talking to him, I'm telling him it's going to be all right, and I love you, and you're beautiful, and I'm glad you came to me today, and I'm here to help you, and I don't know what to do with you, And then after about the 45 minutes, he starts like he's flapping, and he's like hopping away, and I'm like, he's hurt. Something's up with him. He's not flying away. And I literally said, as he's hopping away, I'm like, please don't hop away. A crab might get you. And a fucking crab came out of his hole and grabbed him. And I was like, what the fuck was that? I saved this motherfucker and he gets eat by a crab. What was that all about? 45 fucking minutes. Talking to a butterfly, just got eat by a crab. That's life. That's life. That's what the fuck, Simba hanging in the air was all about. That's life. It is, and it's the truth. Like, I don't know. I felt bad, almost like I manifested that shit or something, but... I still don't have all the answers as to why that happened, but my takeaway from that was, I know it was God because you brought me the fucking butterfly for 45 minutes. So I'm going to enjoy that part. So anyway, maybe you put him out of his misery. I don't fucking know. But anyway, so I have something I wrote, because I write a lot. A lot of people don't know that, but I do. Ooh, I'm a little nervous. All right. Yeah, it is. I know. All right. Let me see if I can get this right here. So a lot of people, it's funny because I'm a graphic designer and I fucking suck at spelling sometimes. I've let big jobs go out and being called and be like, Ashley, you spelled this word wrong. Fuck. I always tell people, please check behind me. I need spell check. Anyways. So a lot of people confuse healing, Heeling, with healing, Healing. So I wrote something about this tonight. I found it was, fucking correlates and it's interesting. So I wrote about those two. So we're going to start with the double E's. And I literally started with tonight I ain't talking, but I like to talk. So here we go. Tonight I ain't talking, just dropping lines for intake. I'd rather organized rhyme than speak so it can't come out sideways. Listen close and quick, I'm going to try and explain how defining life from E to A seems to correlate. First definition, are you ready to relate? This is a command, it simply means obey. Follow closely behind your owner and don't you fucking stray. Leaders hold the change, so leaders lead the way. My default leader, though, I could never impress. Third on her list when she had time to invest. Number 1 was money, number 2 was men. Everything I did was wrong, and I was always on defend. Not gonna lie, it took a long time to let all that shit go. Woke up one day and decided it's time I need to fucking grow. Realized she truly tried despite all she'd been through. My wounds began to close when I became a mom. It's not quite perfect, but I try my best leading her with calm. My second in command, God rest his soul where he lay, held him high to the sky, and I always got my way. But how he controlled me was so fucking sane. Although it wasn't right, all the controlling that he did, today I understand he was scared to lose his kid. The irony is, the second definition reminding me of him. Most of my days, he was my rock for the win. Number 2 is like wrestling slang. It means you're the villain, to treat someone badly. And while reading that in Webster, the math started mathing. 1 + 1 was 2, which was why I was never happy. Spending time inside my mind, proper guidance I was lacking. Blocking mental abuse, chilling alone with emotions, not knowing what to do. Diving deeper than the ocean, writing poems in my room. Overeating and self-loathing, feeling so fucking confused. So the darkness got darker. I don't think they ever knew the alter ego that they both contributed to. How to lie, cheat, and steal, of course they told me not to. They were my fucking parents, so I forgive them for preaching, but never living as monkey see, monkey do. Number 3 might seem insignificant, and I don't mean to boast, but I'm so fucking talented. I found irony in toast. It's what we call bread, the ends of the loaf. You know those those pieces a lot of people seem to not like the most. I gotta admit, there were pieces of me that didn't get any votes. Angry inside and so full of hate, no boundaries for others. I sure mastered manipulate. But what you give is what you get, and that's how energy circulates. No boundaries for me next. I was an open fucking gate. Became an empathetic doormat for anyone's sake. punishing myself for all the haterade I drink, taking in all I considered kin, but they were only there to take. I was born with real eyes, and we all know they realize all that is fake. Who the fuck was I? Drop to my knees and I pray. God, I'm so sorry for all the shit I've become, what I've accepted, what I knew was wrong, how I've participated, letting fear take control. Damn, I'm kind of far deep into the sinkhole. God, you know my true heart, for you made me this way. They don't know, but I do. We talk every day. God, I know you hear me. It always happens this way. I like to fucking gamble, spinning the wheel in this alphabet, always guessing which lesson is going to light up next. God, I know you got me. We will work on this today. It'll start in the E's. It'll end up back at A. Healing doesn't come without feeling all that fucking pain. The true definition of healing means to alleviate all the distress and the anguish, to become sound and healthy again, to correct and make it right. Congratulations, you made it through this fight we call life, my friend. By now you might be wondering what's between the E and the A. Be the change you want to see. Don't give up. Always carry faith. And what's good will always lead the way.
It's always nice to see the strong ones scared. It means it's okay to be scared and strong. All right. I know we have a few regular speakers left, but at this point, I don't really care about fucking structure. So whoever the fuck wants to speak, who wants to speak? Oh, shit. All right. So, as always, he gets introduced as Kiki's husband. But he is one of the most powerful men I've ever had the pleasure of sharing healing with. Also, one of my favorite stories I'll never stop telling was the time I was at workshop and he was screaming at me to do something I really didn't want to do. And I got scared and did it because he told me to. And because I knew if he was yelling at me, there was a reason for it. So I did it, and it was really good. And that day, he helped me realize I had nothing to be afraid of in my anger because I could let it out in the right safe place and nobody gets hurt. So, Mr. David Poyer. See, you got me fucked up. How do you say it?
It's easier. You don't have to even say the last name, right? Hello. I'm David Poyer, Kiki's husband. First of all, I just want to start off by saying I love my amazing wife. This Monday is her birthday, so let's make some noise for her birthday, please. Thank you, guys. Happy birthday. Thank you, guys, for that. Right? The first thing I want to say is that, you know, about healing is this right here is healing, the human narrative. This gives a platform for us to hear each other's stories, and through stories and openness, as we've already seen here tonight, there is healing through that. It's like when somebody tells a story that's so similar to yours, you're like, it's okay. I'm not alone anymore. And so there's power in healing in just that. Also, man, it helps us get past that fear, like you said, Robbie, of getting up here. I was talking to Kiki earlier today, and I'm like, man, this is like open mic night for public speakers. You know, it's like it's an opportunity, you know, comedians, they go to open mic night so they can get up there and they can do their thing. This lets us do our thing, you know. So thank you guys for putting this on. You know, I have that story that's similar to a couple of you where my childhood wasn't traumatic. You know, I didn't have any real bad major things that happened to me as a child. And so I went a long time just, I don't have anything to work on. Everybody else is messed up. You know, I mean, I had a good childhood. I had loving parents. You know, there wasn't anything major going on there. So I just denied that there was anything to even work on, so I never looked at anything. You know, I just kind of rode life, and I was a, pretty positive person, and I think a good person, but never worked on, any sort of like growth opportunities. And then eventually I did. I think, when you're about to have a child, something changes, right? And for me, I started to freak out a little bit. Who was I? Who am I? What am I doing? Am I gonna be a good dad? What do I believe in? What's going on here? And so I finally started opening up to some of the healing things. And, there's 11 of us in here, by my count, that have went through the Way Through workshop. So you guys are probably tired of hearing about it by now, but there's a lot of us here, and we're just passionate about it. It's life altering when you go through it. So if you're tired of hearing about it, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. There's hundreds, thousands of us in Brevard County that have been through it, and it's just we show up to things like this because we realize that the healing's never finished. But that was really the catapult for me. Kiki said, you have to go to this thing, and I said, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to go to this thing. And that really opened me up to this world of healing and into this type of tribe. Along the way, there's been several things that have helped me with my healing. I remember the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. That was just a foundational book for me to look at life differently and kind of open my eyes and kind of take that veil off, that filter off. And then he's got a later book called The Mastery of Love. That was another one that was just super huge. It's just a different way of looking at life. So as I started looking at, myself and my faults and how I'm living my life, I guess, so what I wanted to say was I didn't have those major traumas, but we all have programming, right? We all have, this is how you're taught to live and how you're taught to show up. And so my programming was basically like, listen, all you have to do is work hard and do your job really good and pay the bills. And then everything else is gravy. Well, that's not reality. You have to connect with the people around you. You have to be able to open up emotionally, in my opinion, to have a real raw connection with somebody. That was kind of one of my things is I would work really hard. I would do all the things and, but I wouldn't be available beyond that, so being able to look at that and become available in that way has really, just been huge in my life, and it's really allowed me to have those close connections with people around me. And when I started actually able to look at that, it was kind of for me like the Matrix, when he takes the pill, right? And it's like all of a sudden you have human eating robots trying to, get at your ass, and you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, I'm hurting people over here, and oh, the way I'm showing up here, it's not really like mean per se, but it's still hurting people and it still affects people. So it just opened up my eyes to like all kinds of different things. And then for me, it's like, okay, well, there's more and more to look at. We have a friend, he's a musician. He just released an album and he titled it New Levels, New Devils. And a couple of you said tonight that, your healing's never finished. It's a journey. And it's like you get to that new level, and there's a new boss guy to defeat. So you see different levels of that same healing journey as you move about it. So just wanted to kind of share that perspective on it. The other places that I've found a lot of healing is through men's work. I've been in a men's group for a little over 2 years now, and that's just been huge. It's not something that I've ever been a part of, and it's good camaraderie. It's sitting in circles and places like this and just sharing and being open. Yeah, that's been a huge thing for me, and now I'm actually even in talk therapy, which is something that I would have never considered. It's like that, things like that you're kind of programmed that are a sign of weakness, but now I'm like, okay, well, there's a new thing. All right, well, let's look at that, let's dive into that. Let's see what growth can come out of that. Basically, I'm just saying, a lot of what's already been said tonight, and I'm a little tired, so I'm a little all over the place tonight, but that's okay. I'm here and I'm doing it. Is that the journey is never complete, and just keep doing your thing and keep finding people that are safe to talk to, and yeah, thank you all.
All right. Yeah, I am also tired, and I am drained. This it's been a beautiful night. We're not wrapping it up. I'm just saying, whew. Gotta take a breather. Who wants to go next? Oh. All right. So, Kathleen, we met at the way through the time I did it, and she challenged me, and I was mad at her, and now I love her a lot. Kathleen Long, everyone.
This microphone to me is like I just got handed the talking stick. And in indigenous tribal teachings, that was one of the gifts that was given from the Great Mystery to the people, to make sure everybody's opinion got heard. And when you held the talking stick, it was your turn to talk. And I try to plan. When somebody gives me a talking stick, I'm like, what? I'm supposed to say something, and it's like I go, okay, what's this stick gonna make me say? Make me say? So going back to the topic of tonight, the first thing I did when I heard about it, and this was right away, the first time it got posted that this was going to be the topic, the word healing. I always go to the dictionary and look up a definition, because it's like I don't the fuck know what that word means. She's going to have one meaning. How many people are in this room? Everybody has a different slant on what it means. But this is what Merriam-Webster's meaning was that I found. It says, healing is the act or process of curing or restoring to health. And then next week I listened to Jerry Nadelsheim, who's a shaman who talks on the pod broadcast, which some of you know about and some of you don't. But anyhow, she was talking about healing, and this is what she said. There is definitely a difference between healing and a cure. A cure aims for complete eradication as if the issue never existed. It's like waving a magic wand and the happening never occurred. Healing, on the other hand, is a more holistic approach that helps the one being healed to become whole, even if the condition persists. Healing focuses on well-being, on strength, on the ability to cope regardless of the condition. It's about finding peace and balance even when being faced with challenges. So I just thought that was a really cool definition, or one way to think about this, whatever way you come to it all. So I'm going to talk about having a voice in this moment. How many times have you felt like you had no voice? Who can raise your hand and say you felt like that? Okay? In your healing journey, it's about claiming your voice. Sometimes you need to use it and speak out loud. Sometimes you need to go to the mirror. Sometimes you need to talk to a tree. But you need to always remember it's one of the things you were born with. And you're supposed to use it. Gets you out of a lot of trouble. Scott talked about no secrets. One of my catharsis journeys. I don't remember ever thinking I started a healing journey like a lot of people in here talk about. But I'm one of the people who did the workshop that everybody talks about, and the guy who was doing it when I did it, his name was Art Sellers. I was one of those people who never wanted to be on this planet. I didn't like it here. It sucked. And here I am, 50 years old. And I walk into this workshop, and Art says to me, where do you live? And I thought about it for a while, and I go, well, on Pachamama, Mother Earth. And he goes, don't you think it's about time you quit bitching about it and start asking questions about how to like it here? And I went, oh, never thought about life that way before. But everything Robbie said up here, I felt like I could have said exactly the same things you said. The confusion, and I do the workshop. Every time I do the workshop, a lot of times at the end of it I say, who the fuck knew this is what love looked like? Supposed to look like the Cinderella fairy tale story. No. Your path, and as we discover, is all about telling the truth, being real. Being who you are in the moment every single fucking time. That's what you came here to do, is to be you. Now, there's good things that you can do. Somebody talks about the Four Agreements. This book I just discovered, it's called Clanology, and it comes, the clan system of the Iroquois. So, some of the teachings and stuff that have come through me, through my ancestors and friends, are the messages of the four directions. And in the West is considered, if any of you do Lodge with Becky, the West is what we call the healing direction. And the common totem, which seems to be one of the more common totem animals in a lot of the different tribal information, is the bear. And I always thought the reason why the bear was known as the healer, because that direction is a direction of healing, was because the people watched the bear pick the berries in the woods, and he would take them back to the people would watch him, and the cubs would get better, so the people would practice what the bear taught. And then I went to find that story online, and they gave me a completely different story about, let's see, where does it start? And it goes like this. Many years ago, before the arrival of the European people here in North America, the Creator came to visit his people. One day, the Creator decided to check up on his people to see if they were still following his teachings. One day, the people noticed that a big chunk of the sun fell from the sky and came crashing toward the earth. It was a huge ball of flames, and when it crashed to earth, there appeared a most handsome man. This wonderful man was the Creator himself. This man prepared himself to visit his people. The first thing he did was to transform his body into that of a very tired, dirty, shabby-looking old man. The Creator did this so no one would recognize him. In those days, our people lived in villages. Put some more light on this subject. Each village was inhabited by a single clan. The villages were many miles apart from one another. Usually each village was located by a lake or some body of water. Generally, there were small trails or paths that connected these villages. Now, I don't know how to say this word, but this was the name that he was called by, Sanquay Atison, who now is transformed into an old man, begins the journey following a small path, picking up a crooked and twisted stick that becomes his cane or walking stick. As he makes his way along the path, he has to go through thorn bushes and burdock patches. The thorn bushes tear his clothes, making them even more shabby looking. The burdocks get stuck in his hair, and all his exposed skin is scratched by the bushes. Finally, he comes to a clearing along the side of a small lake and sees smoke rising from the cooking fires of that village. He was so relieved to finally find his people that he hurriedly approached. An older woman met him when he reached the village, and she was very hostile to the old man. She chased him away. She ridiculed his physical appearance and called him a lazy, stinking beggar. He was very disappointed, disillusioned, and very hurt. He pulled himself together and continued on his way, following the dirt trail in search of another village that might welcome him. He was now becoming very tired, worn down, and very hungry. Mile after mile wore holes in his moccasins. His feet were beginning to ache and blister. After miles of walking, he again saw smoke rising in the distance. Upon reaching the village, he noticed the antlers of a deer affixed to the bark houses. As he entered the Deer Clan village, a small group of Deer Clan women scolded him and told him to leave because they didn't want a lazy, stinking old man hanging out around their village. Once again, the old man was disappointed and walked away ever so hurt. He continued to walk and walk. Every single time he found a village, he was turned away and verbally abused. He attempted to visit the Eel Clan, the Hawk Clan, the Turtle Clan, the Beaver Clan, the Snipe Clan. The other clans turned him away. Now the old man was so hurt and so disappointed that all his people had abandoned their ways and teachings. His feet were all blistered and his body was all scratched. He became very weak and barely able to walk because of his hunger. Now the old man came to the conclusion that all his people no longer followed the sacred ways. He decided to return to the sky world, and from there would change the world forevermore. He was just about to return to his home in the sky world when he noticed smoke rising in the distance. With great pain and a last effort, he made his way to that village. He noticed there were Bear Clan emblems hanging around the walls of the bark houses. As he approached the village, he had feelings of reluctance and anxiety. He was very much afraid of being rejected, as he had been up until that moment. As he approached closer, he saw a very old woman who helpfully embraced him and offered warm words of welcome. The old woman said to him something that means, "I give you my greetings and thankfulness together with love, grandfather." Now the old woman guided him to her house, where she offered him some herb tea and fed him whatever food she had at that moment. The old Bear Clan lady fixed water for him to bathe and offered him a robe to wrap himself when she washed and mended his old clothes. The old Bear Clan woman fixed a bed with blankets of fur for the old man to rest. That evening she prepared many types of food and puddings for the old man. That night he was so pleased that there was still someone on earth who remembered the teachings. The next morning, the old Bear Clan woman woke to find the old man in severe pain. The Bear Clan woman felt so sorry for the old man and asked what she could do to help him be more comfortable. He told the old woman that in the forest where the hardwood trees grow, there are patches of medicine plants. He described exactly what they looked like and gave the old lady, sacred tobacco to offer to the leader of the medicine patch. He told her exactly how to watch the medicine, how many roots, how much water to use, how long, and how hot to cook the medicine. The old Bear Clan woman did exactly as she was told, and the old man drank the medicine. In a short while the old man was well and happy. In a short while, the old man was well and happy. Soon the old Blair Clan woman was sewing new moccasins and an entire outfit for the old man. The women in the village would gather at her house to sing for the old man's entertainment. Next morning, when the old woman got up, the old man again was very sick. Again the old man told the Bear Clan woman where to go to find the proper medicinal plant and exactly how to prepare it. The old man drank the medicine and the sickness went away. Every day the old man became ill with every possible sickness. Each time this happened, the Bear Clan woman was told that what medicine plant or plants to prepare. Every time the old man would become well. Now on a particular day, the old man told the Bear Clan woman he had taught her and her people all the knowledge of medicine as a special gift. The Bear Clan people would never forget the ways and teachings of the Creator. From that point on, the Bear Clan people would be knowledgeable of medicine for their people. For those, regardless of the clan, who embrace the teachings of our Creator will be acknowledged by our Creator with a special gift. Now on the last day of his visit, this is what happened. Again, the Bear Clan woman woke up to find the old man in severe pain and very sick. She asked what she might do to help the old man. The old man for the last time instructed her where to find the medicine. When the old woman returned home to her house, she noticed that a huge flame was shining through the cracks and openings of her house. The Bear Clan woman thought that her house was on fire and rushed to save the old man. Just as she turned the corner of her house, she saw the old man transform himself into a handsome young man and then into a huge ball of flames. Stunned with awe, she watched as a great ball of flame shot up into the sky, then disappeared into the sun. So it was that the people of the Bear Clan received from the Creator their knowledge of medicines. And these are like, the next things I'm going to read are like sort of the 4 agreements. They're called the lessons they learned from his visit. Never ridicule or make fun of someone, for this person may be the Creator. When someone visits your home or community, always welcome them. When someone visits your house, don't ask if they are hungry. Share whatever food you have with them. Give them something to drink. Don't ask if they have a place to sleep or stay. Fix a bed where they may rest. Always know what the teachings of the Creator are. And Rose, I'm going to ask you to help me with this. We watched a movie last night. I said to her, well, what are the teachings of the Creator? And what did you say? What was Ella's message in this show we watched last night? Yeah. She said, no, just tell me what. To be courageous. That's what you have to do. Those are the teachings of the Creator. And you all know you've all done that many, many millions of times in your life. You've been kind and you've been courageous. You know? And so at that point, you sit in gratitude. One more thing before I stop. I don't know if you can see my shirt, but it's got stones on it. I just got it up north in Michigan, where I went to say goodbye to the house that my father built. It's a sad journey. But I got this shirt because as part of working with art and stuff and asking questions about how to like it here on the planet, I went to the beach in Wabasso, which is south of here, and my husband had just left me, and I was an absolute mess. And she said, do this, and he said, do that, and so said, do this, and, you know, this book told me this, and this book told me this, and my mind was like, well, what the fuck do I do? And I felt alone. I felt totally separate from anything because all these things were separating things. They didn't bring me together. And I picked up a stone off the beach in Sebastian. And I immediately just went, you know, this stone has been through journeys of lifetimes. And it's still here. And it's still doing its thing. The stone people are called the storytellers. They hold the stories of the planet. So when you get into the places of confusion, sit on the earth, pick up a stone, sing to the trees. Those are all tools to use, especially when you're in confusion. And if you start singing, sometimes singing starts out, everything sucks today, and I'm not singing on key, and God, I hate you, and all those things that you can say. And then you go, oh, wait a minute, that's not who I want to be. And your song shifts into this place of beauty and harmony. You know, and until the next thing comes along that makes you feel. By the way, they say you don't come into the planet with an instruction book, but yeah, you do. Your instruction book is your NGGS, your Natural Given Guidance System, which is your feeling system. Listen to it. It will guide you through everything. It'll let you know when it hurts and it doesn't feel right. Those memories you have from when you got abused as a little kid and you're like, I don't like this. Why do I like this? All that kind of stuff. It's your teacher. Don't take it offline. Don't take your voice offline. Don't take your tears offline. Don't take your laughter offline. You know, it's the connection that we all need. And you know, we're also connected in this room. And come back to these circles when you feel disconnected. There are all kinds of circles like this. You know, Chad had one before he came here, you know. I call myself a walk-betweener. I walk from one circle to another circle to another circle to another circle, and it fills me up. It keeps me going. If I don't do that, I get like really, really empty and drained. And, you know, the other part of also remembering dreamland. You need to rest. That fills you back up too. So that's my yakking for tonight. So thank you for listening. Called Becoming Part of the Cosmic Symphony.
One of my favorite things has become watching you giggle like a little girl, because you do it often. And you're another person that I was very intimidated by. So to see you giggle like a little girl is really fucking awesome. You know, yeah. I heard a guy say recently, it all stems from childhood trauma. And sometimes the trauma is just being fucking alive. That's it. I think we've gone through all of our regulars. Oh, Beth. Are you still wanting to do this, Beth? Okay. So I met Beth also at the Way Through workshop, and I swear to God, it's not a fucking cult, man. I know we fucking all talk about it so much, and it probably sounds weird as shit, but it's not. I mean, well, it is, but like, it's not a bad weird. It's good weird. There's a lot of beautiful things that happen there, but Beth she and I did workshop together, and she said I reminded her of someone, and then yelled at me a whole lot and got it all out. And I had a really hard time with that because I didn't want to get yelled at. And that was part of my healing. And I definitely now have fully understood and embraced her as my super soul sister. So, Beth Fernandez, come on up and make some talks.
So, hi. So, healing is I wish that I could say that like I want to grow and I want to be a better version of me, and it's butterflies and unicorns and skipping and tiptoeing through the tulips. But I have not grown an inch in my comfort zone. And pain is the rocket ship for me moving forward. And that's with 17 years in a 12-step program. That's with years of counseling. Pain is still the touchstone to growth for me. And that kind of sucks. I mean, I wish I could do it just to do it, but that's not my reality. So, I just peeled back a nice juicy layer of my onion. So fun. So I made some poor choices recently. And it was painful. It was really painful. And I was like, how the fuck did I get here? And how do I get out of it? And why did I get here? And it was hard to look at. And so I started doing another layer of therapy, which is supposed to help to desensitize from actual trauma, called EMDR. On the surface, looks really hokey. I'm like, I don't think this shit's going to work. But I'm open-minded because doing things my way is not working for me. So why not try something different? And so you go and you process different events. And there was a big, juicy fucking layer that came up. And it's not that, you know, I do believe that for many of us with trauma, we get stuck, and it's usually at a young childhood age when we experience that. And it's like, I stopped fucking growing, and I am a raging teenager as a 50-year-old woman, working from that mindset. When I am not taking really good care of myself spiritually and emotionally, I can go right back to that 12-year-old that was in trauma, making choices based on trauma, making choices based on the fact that I felt like a piece of shit, that I was less than, that I sliced my wrist because I wanted to die, because I took a bottle of pills because I wanted to die. I can still tap into that feeling and make bad choices that perpetuate my pain. So I got married and on a whim, and got annulled on a smart whim. And when I was sifting through all of that and all of those choices, what was coming up was this less than. And so there was, you know, my childhood. And it's funny because let me say this, that I think it's one of the cool things about this is that while we're walking different paths, suffering is suffering and pain is pain. And I remember going to a workshop back a decade ago. And there was this woman who was like super fucking fancy and rich, and she presented well, and she was very poised. And I was like, yeah, I got nothing fucking in common with this woman. And her suffering, her pain was exactly the same as mine. different vehicle to get there. But pain is pain, feelings are feelings, no matter what the outside packaging looks like. And the cool thing about being here, like I look at this human narrative as like 93-degree octane going in my fuel tank. It's good stuff. And the wide openness, the rawness is, I don't feel like a freak show. It's like I am not alone. And to the other people who are watching on whatever channel they're watching on, not alone, not a freak show. And that's a great place to be. So anyways, the juicy layer of my onion was, it's like a place of pain, a geological place of pain, which is up in upstate New Hampshire. And it's where I became maladjusted to life on steroids. And I was like the only black person. We were super poor, so I smelled. I had period stained clothes. I just was a mess. Didn't shower for 6 months at a time. And I wound up picking up alcohol, and I was like, life is okay now. I feel okay. And, 6 months later, I was in rehab number 1 and lost my license, and that continued throughout my adult life. But I wound up, and this is where there's an ongoing theme. We kind of hit the same, I'm hitting the same ruts in my life. So I connected with this man as a 14, 15-year-old girl who was president of his bike club, outlaw motorcycle club. I was a side dish because I was worth all that. And I wound up being raped. And that sucks. And there's, 1 in 4 of us are sexually assaulted. So I know that I am not alone in that. There's been an ongoing theme about tribe and having a safe place to put your shit. And that's really important. So when I shared what happened, it created a shit show. So the man, of course, abandoned me because it was all about his brothers, because it was his brothers that did it. And, there was this whole being ostracized. I was in the wrong. And it created this, I will never tell anybody anything again that's of value, or can hurt me. And this fierce, I'll never ask for help. And I'm one of the attendees of workshop, and the one exercise that put me on my knees was, I need you. I'm like, it made me throw up in my mouth and want to pass out. It was that gross to me. And it's still not comfortable. I can palate it now, but not comfy. So I went up to New Hampshire to the place of this pain. It's like going into the belly of the beast. And I walked down the street that I walked down with somebody's cum dripping out of me and feeling very alone and try to heal a layer and say, I survived, I'm here. And I'm here today. There's a saying by Oscar Wilde, which I love, and it says, he says, my scars remind me that my past is real. And I am the woman today, I'm the woman today because the things. But now it's time to grow to a new layer. There's some things that weren't serving me. So, things manifest in different ways. So my relationships with men were jacked up, my sexuality, and what, am I okay? Do I like these kinky things because I like the kinky things? Or somebody said, your trauma is in your kink. And, a lot of folks don't talk about that, but it's like, okay, so what's healthy versus where am I staying stuck? And looking at that with an open mind. And I'm not going to the nunnery, but I want to be healthy about what I'm doing, right? And so it was a layer that needed to be peeled back. So I went to the places after doing the work, after going to counseling, after meditating. Like for me, I'm not super religious, but I definitely feel most comfortable in nature. I feel like things are right-sized. Everything has its right purpose. and it's just everything is the way it should be in nature. And so that feels good. So I went to the river where I used to bathe, and I cried. And then a couple of people actually had mentioned butterflies. And there were these butterflies that were on these rocks. And I don't normally know butterflies to just hang out on rocks. Normally they're on flowers doing their butterfly thing. But they were hanging out on these rocks, and one had a busted up wing. Didn't get ate by a crab. But he had a busted wing, and he was still doing butterfly things. Like, he was still doing his thing, or she. And none of us get out of this life unscathed without pain. But it's, can we transcend it? Can we let go of the things that aren't serving us? My anger used to be a weapon. And one of the other things I had to heal from when I was up there was that I attempted to kill my stepfather with a chainsaw. I did not connect, but I had every single intention to do that. My anger was unstoppable, and that became a tool. And if you want to throw up in your mouth, you think about where anger comes from. It comes from hurt, and it comes from fear. That's like really gross to process, but that's, for me, when I'm the most angry, I'm the most afraid. I'm the most hurt. But anger is real easy, to back people off. And I learned that. So this is a record. It was destined for the trash. It's the Sound of Music, but it is really scratched up. And with a little bit of work, it was transformed into something completely different that says, go laugh in the places where you've cried, change the narrative. I painted this after I did the trip to New Hampshire. I had seen this quote on a meme on Facebook before I decided to make the trip, and I was like, yeah, that's sealed the deal. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to complete this journey of I don't want to say putting a bow on, but this gnarly layer of New Hampshire and the events up there, and walking through it, and making that memory be something different. And so, I listened to a comedian to laugh in most of the places, but I reset that memory in those core places of, this is a place where I wrote about killing myself, where I thought about the plan of killing myself, where I thought about the plan of killing other people. And I now realize that I'm okay. And everybody else is the way they're supposed to be. I have no control over people, places, and things. And it doesn't mean that what people did were right or acceptable. But I have control with what I do with it. Am I going to keep train wrecking throughout my life, drinking poison, expecting other people to die? Or do I go to the next level that serves me? And that's not comfortable at all. But neither was where I was at. And so I am super grateful for this forum and this space. There's been a couple of times, Robbie was talking about that tattoo forum that he has, and I actually shared one of your posts with my son. It was about 2 weeks ago. My boy was having a really fucking hard time. And I read your post to him out loud. And he's 10. But there was like these little twinklings of understanding of somebody else that was feeling like he was feeling, that made it through another day. Not just surviving, but thriving. And I've shared some of the things with Chad and the OCD, because my boy's trekking in that direction. And it's just nice because it's not just for us, but we can carry this into with our families, and share the love and healing with our families. And I'm super grateful for that. I'm grateful for the space. Thank you so much.
So that opened up something in my head right quick that I need to share. I'm an expert at wanting to kill myself and pushing it off like it's no big fucking deal. Happened to me this week. Because some really heavy shit went down, and I was like, man, it'd just be so much fucking easier if I could just off this shit. And it's so weird because, back to the healing and feeling thing, feeling that obviously means that I'm still fucking healing. So in the moments where you want to die because it's so fucking hard to do life, that just means you're probably getting some of the biggest doses of healing that are either coming or you're already sitting in, because healing's fucking ugly. So if you too are also an expert at wanting to kill yourself and pushing it off like it's no big deal, you're not alone. And you're not fucked up. It's just fucking life sometimes. So it's fine to feel that way. It's okay not to feel okay. It's not okay to stay that way. And acting on suicidal thoughts is staying that way, and that's not okay. So refer back to the rhyme. Who's next? They do, okay. Let's send somebody back to grab them. Come on, love. All right. So I know I've seen your face a million times. I know I've met you a million times, and your name escapes me. Janice. So you lived next to my mom, or you're friends with my mom's friends? Yeah, friends. Okay. All right. So Janice is connected through workshop and my mom, oddly enough. So thank you for always showing up. Thank you for being wonderful, and thank you for sharing tonight. Yes. Thank you.
This is awesome. Okay. When I heard the topic, I wanted to share, a million things come up because it's been a healing journey for a while. But there was one story. I like stories. I really like stories. And so there was a point in my life, actually not all that long ago, where this friend of mine, she was absolutely like one of my dearest friends. We traveled together. We spent a lot of time together. We'd meet and walk on the beach. We just did a lot of things together, and we worked together. And there came a point when things started going kind of wonky, and things were happening like she'd invite me somewhere and I'd show up and she wouldn't show up. And then I'd say, where were you? And she would just blow me off. There's no real excuse. It escalated into I separated from my husband of 25 years. And I was pretty out there about it. And I asked if I could sleep on her couch for a few days while I figured out what I'm going to do. And she said, sure. And in that, she was acting like nothing was going on. Everything was just great. Didn't ask me how I was doing. You would think a best friend would be sitting and holding your hand and going, you doing all right and whatever. And she would, she would come home. She would bring her coffee. She wouldn't offer me any. And then one day she just kind of threw out there and said, have you talked to Bill? And I said, no, because he doesn't talk. And she goes, well, it's been good enough for you for 25 years. I don't know what the problem is now. And walked away. She's been divorced 3 times. So, I mean, I literally went outside and vomited. It just hurt me so deeply. And I went in and I put the key on the counter and I picked up my stuff and I left. And, but I kept going back. And thinking it was me. And then we had this weekend, she invited me and my grandchildren to go on this mud run. And it was like 2 hours away. And I texted her the night before, you're going to be there at this time. I got to pick up the grandkids. It's going to take me 2 hours to get there. You're going to wait for us, right? Oh, yeah, we had a run time at 10:30. So I get my grands, and we drive 2 hours. We get there at like 10:15. She's nowhere to be found. And my grandkids, my one granddaughter was just so excited to run with her, and she was talking about it, and she's like, all this, whatever. Don't hear from her till like 2 in the afternoon. And her comment was, oh, I found somebody else to run with. And I was just stunned, you know, and I kept fucking going back. And I don't know what it was, but there was just, I don't even know which moment it was, but there was a moment when I snapped, and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. And it turned into this rage, and we worked together. I worked nights. She'd come in and relieve me in the morning, and I would see her, and I would have this physical reaction like, I'm going to punch her in the throat. I mean, that's all I could think about when I would see her, and I know it's on my face, and all I could think about was, I just want to punch her. I'm going to punch her in the throat. That's all I want to do. And she couldn't understand why we weren't friends. She'd try to call me. I wouldn't answer. I'm like, we're not friends anymore. This is not happening. And I kept getting, the angrier I got, the sicker I was getting. And I don't even realize this is what I'm doing. And I'm getting really sick. And I can't, and all I could do was tell everybody what she did to me. Like, that was my narrative. That and if there was somebody new that hadn't heard it, I couldn't wait to tell them what a horrible person this woman is. So I'm also in a recovery healing journey, and I ended up at the last minute at this, you know, and I did my work. I did my inventory. I figured out what my part was, you know, all this kind of stuff, and I thought that would resolve it. But every time I saw this woman, all I could think of was, I'm going to punch her in the throat. Well, I didn't realize, but I'm getting sicker. And I got invited to this weekend conference, and it's all these women celebrating recovery, and I show up, and I hate everybody. And I'm walking around in this thing, and I'm like, nobody's talking to me. These people, this is supposed to be like kumbaya. Everybody loves everybody. Nobody's talking to me. I hate these people. I don't want to go to any of the workshops. Like, it must have been palpable. And I'm not even aware of this. And I go to this one workshop, and they're talking about this inventory process. A couple hours later, I go to another one. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going, this isn't the fucking workshop that's on the list. Blah, you know, the topic's all off. She's talking about forgiveness. And all I'm doing is sitting in my anger. And all of a sudden, this woman at the end gets up and shares and said, there's a very important part about our healing is we have to pray for forgiveness. And I went, fuck. All of a sudden, the light bulb went on, and I went home, and I shared with my, you know, sponsor and whatever. And she goes, you need to pray for her for several weeks. Well, it took about 2 months. And every morning, like clockwork, I would get up in the morning, and I would say this prayer. Give Donna everything I would want for myself and more, and help me forgive. And like 2 months later, I come around the corner, and she's coming in to relieve me for work. We have a patient to do, and I say, hey, can you help me with this patient? Like, I would not even speak to her. We went and took care of a patient together. I needed an extra pair of hands. We come around the corner, and we're laughing, and the people standing there, their jaw is down to here. Like, I mean, apparently I had worked in the masses. Like, they are all in my story now. And they thought and somebody came up and said, I never thought I would see that again. Fast forward, I have forgiven, and I was released, and I would share about this whole thing about forgiveness. But the part that was the healing for me, that was so palpable, that started me to Mexico, that started me to workshop, that led me to writing class, that led me to all these other things about healing, was looking at that person, who I was, and why. Why the hell am I giving all these people my power? Why is it so important that other people have to treat me this way for me to be okay? And it turned things for me that now it's like, I need me to be okay with me. You're secondary or like not in that part of the equation. And, you know, I'd like to say it's easy and that I'm like really good now. But somebody said the journey never stops, and it doesn't. But one of my favorite moments for me was this last trip to Mexico, and we're in Sweat Lodge. And I'll finish with so clearly someone who needs other people to make them feel okay don't know how to say no, right? So we're sitting in Sweat Lodge, and I still kind of see people in this role of authority. Then there's, you know, instead of, so the shaman Eduardo is like this amazing guy, and he looks at me and he goes, sing Amazing Grace. And I went, no. That was it. No. Didn't have to explain myself or anything. I just said, no, I'm doing my song. And proceeded to belt out Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog instead of Amazing Grace. And it was fucking awesome. So my healing is for me. It was letting go, finally seeing where I was putting my okayness in your hands. And that's not where I want it to be anymore. Thanks. Long, crazy, wonderful hugs. Aren't they the best? I know, that happens all the time. They live on my head.
So, Janice has just become my new favorite person. I didn't think anger could come in such a cute, sweet little package. Because I'm an angry motherfucker. Thanks for making me not feel alone in that. And that forgiveness shit. God bless him. So the next speakers are two young little humans. One I've known her whole life. The other I just met recently, and she blew my fucking mind when she spoke last time. So I am going to bring up Cora and Amelia. So Cora is Chad and Megan's daughter. Amelia is Ashley's daughter. And you guys have to share a microphone. But thank you guys for coming up and speaking, because you two speaking is so beautiful. It's so powerful because it shows people that strength can come at any age and in any package. And you guys are fucking really strong and powerful. So thanks for being awesome.
I'm fitting at the edge because I'm smaller. Okay. Look, I can actually fit because my leg's holding me up. Okay, so we wanted to talk about, we wanted to talk about our teachers who we loved, and they had to go, and they had to leave us, and it was sad for us. It was sad for our classmates and our teachers and us. Our main thing we wanted to say today was that even though scars are made, they can heal, but it will still be there. Like a tattoo. We rehearsed this over there. We rehearsed. I'm still nervous. Me too. But we, some of our teachers, they went out to find their own passion, and some were raising a child, and some had just better opportunities and they couldn't afford to stay.
And some went up there. Yeah.
We're sad about it, and our friends are sad about it too, but we wanted to say that we can always heal. Always, no matter how rough it is. No matter how much pain we're going through.
But it will always stay a little bit in your head.
Yep. That one reminder, like when you may walk into the room and you may see a painting that reminds you of it, or someone who reminds you of that painful memory. But that's okay, 'cause maybe that person can help you through it. And sometimes you want to break down and you want to just cry and you want to just grab the Mac and say, please don't leave, just please. But you can't, 'cause their fate is not up to you. It's up to them. And if you choose to take the path that you're meant to and let them go, you will find what you need to, not what you want, because sometimes what you want is never the right path sometimes. Sometimes you have to go through a lot just to get where you're at. Love is very powerful, but healing is very important.
We know that because we've lost 6 people. And we really miss them. But sometimes you just gotta keep some memory and toss the rest.
Okay, I don't know what else to say.
Remember the little memory you were gonna share?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say what it was from, but I had something happen to me, and I've always wanted someone to come into our house and I just defeat them. I defeat them and I'd be the hero. I've always wanted to be one of those heroes who saved the house, and everybody was like, oh my God, you did that? And one day that happened, but it wasn't someone I needed to save. It was me who I needed to save. And I technically took no reaction to it, but sometimes I still get that memory in my head. Why? Why me? Why was it this way? I wasn't prepared for this way. But that's how life is. That's how we get through it. If we was always prepared for life, then basically it would be too normal. Way too normal. It would feel like it's not even real.
It'd feel not fun.
Nope, wouldn't be fun at all. But I was hurt, and I healed quickly, but there are still some people out there who really need time, maybe years, maybe months, but there's people out there who always needs some help just to get back on their feet. And even though they seem and they hold it in and act like they're fine all the time, you never really know. You never know if they're fine. You never know if they're truly okay. And some people, they are fine. But some people, they're not. And sometimes you just have to find out by yourself and help them in any way you can. But make sure yourself heals too. Your turn.
I didn't really have one.
Yes, you did.
No.
We talked about it.
No.
Yes.
No.
You sure?
Yes.
You don't want to do it now? That's okay. Well, that's it. Nothing else. Nada. Banana split.
You guys. I'm so proud of you both.
I'm still shaking every single time I talk. I leak.
That's always profound.
Yeah, for real. And I think your mama's eyes might be leaking, but you know. Hey! That just means she's always healing. Fucking refreshing. So, do we have any more? And this next generation is helping us heal. That's why our eyes are always leaking. So, I feel like we still have more. Wow, loudmouth Megan calling somebody out. You here for it or not, dog? Oh, okay. All right, so not forcing anyone, but I'm giving the last options. Otherwise, we finna wrap it up, and that'll be the end of the night. Yeah. And that's why I say, you know, it's mad easy for me to like talk about in my head. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. No, we can't fucking do this. So it's really easy for me to feel that way and then just pretend it didn't really happen or just push past it. Cause like, it's not a fucking option. Yeah, I want this right now, but that's just right now. And that's stupid. So, you know, shortly thereafter, we make it through. And, you know, you find those people that you're safe with, that you can share with. And then you do. I mean, fuck, I'm sure Donna's tired of being my therapist. You know, man, I fucking thought about it today. And she's like, yeah, it's cool. You ain't did it, though. So, this is our last call. Any more speakers going once? Going twice. All right. So, we're going to wrap up this episode of The Human Narrative. I love these nights. I said like there's no such thing as a get healed quick pill, but I feel like I got a mega dose of healing this evening. I came into it with no expectations. You know, I woke up early, did my appointment early, made sure I had time to decompress before we started it, and I had my day planned. I didn't have healing planned into that day. And you guys gave me a mega dose of that. And sharing my own shit gave me a mega dose of that. So, thank you all, as always. It's amazing to have you guys here. It's amazing to have y'all here in the internet world. I need to give a mega, mega, mega shout out to Zach, because when you are not here, things are different. Yeah, our little webcam makes it feel so not the same. And as I've said a number of times, you make me feel seen. Man, the content we created in this shop the other day was life-changing. We fucking made a video to this viral song, Pink Pony Club. And it was me, Dylan, and Chuck. Chuck is a rugged-looking dude. Dylan's a nice-looking dude. And I'm Robbie. And we all kind of played our different roles in this video. And the whole concept was Chuck was the new guy. And me and Dylan were having a fucking blast. And Chuck was just sad because he just wanted to be accepted into the group. And throughout the video, and this whole video was Zach's idea, by the way. And, you know, he brings me this viral song, and I'm like, cool, you know, we'll catch some views because it's a viral song, right? The amount of motherfuckers that told me that video brought them to happy tears. You know, this video is 50% like breaking my heart and 50% fucking joy. It took off. It's gotten over 30,000 views collectively between Facebook and Instagram. And the comments of how this man happens to take these ideas and make people feel is fucking killer. I never thought finding a content creator, homie, was going to change my life in ways. I just thought we were going to make videos and we were going to make them look better than other people. And while that's true, you know, I make content with some of the biggest names in tattooing, and they're doing it on fucking iPhones. And then I come in here, and this guy's got his fucking cage and his thing and his that and his tripod and his lights and his fucking, and like, you know, we were just two dudes shooting lots of content when we met. And now, like, we take turns directing and producing and creating the whole fucking thing. And it's added this whole different level to my business that was painful, that was not fun, that was annoying to do. And we laughed like fucking children that day when we were all creating this content together. So healing comes in all different forms, sometimes in the form of creating content with your friends. And I've noticed tonight, I've gotten more comfortable with not holding this the whole time. And this was my security blanket for a while. And I do it still, but like I keep finding myself just letting it go and just having the electronic talking stick without the fidget spinner. And last time we did this, it was love, right? And that's a big fucking topic. And it was a giant crowd, and it was terrifying because people fucking showed up early. And we booked me wrong, so I still was tattooing, and I was all fucked up in the head. And then like, oh, it was terrible. It was so scary. And today was just so much easier. And that's what healing's like. Because last month was a year we've done this, and it was the scariest fucking time I ever did was that year anniversary. And this time it was just like tying my shoes. It was so just not even a thing. So your healing journey is always going to be on the up and the down and the up and the down and the in and the out and the backward and the upside down and the what the fuck. So if you're like heavy in the what the fuck right now, there's places like this. There's places like the Way Through Workshop. There's places like church that a lot of y'all go to. There's places like talk therapy. There's so many fucking places that you can go to and get back to center and get back to yourself. And remember that your healing journey is going to be hard. This is one of the hardest weeks I've had in a very long time. I've dealt with some really fucking heavy shit. And I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. It sucks. But in the midst of some of the hardest shit I've dealt with this week, I had a friend reach out to me. He told me I did a good job. in a situation where I thought I failed miserably. And I was beating myself up so hard thinking I just ruined a relationship. And this outside perspective greeted me with, I'm not sucking your dick or anyone's dick in this feedback. I'm not just fucking patting somebody on the back and telling niceties. And I was like, oh shit, he's going to tell me I fucking sucked. And he was just telling me that because he said nothing but good things about my reaction to this situation and the way I handled it. Now I'm shaking. He told me that I did such a great job and that anyone in this situation, if they were acting as their best selves, would have acted the way I acted. And I didn't think I was going to make it through the fucking day. I didn't think I was going to be able to tattoo my client. I had to sneak behind the fucking the storage bins next door and smoke a joint. And I've been trying not to smoke because it's bad for my health. But I was so fucked up in the head. I was like, I need to step away. I need to pull myself out. I need to just figure out. And then an hour or so later, the homie calls me and he's like, you did a great job. So if you did something that you might have did wrong or maybe not acted as your best self, go talk to the right person. Let your secret out. And be prepared to get smacked in the face with the good shit. One of the things I've been learning a lot lately, it's really fucking hard. It's really hard. Because I have some of the best fucking things in my life happening simultaneously with some of the worst things in my life happening. I traded a new fear for an old fear. I used to be afraid of going to prison or jail. That used to be one of the scariest fucking things in my life. Now I'm just afraid of losing the relationship with my oldest son. And that's scarier than any prison that I've ever thought about. And I keep getting reminded by the people that matter the most that this is all a part of life. Father work is hard. I'm doing most of my father work with my father after that motherfucker died. So maybe me and my son are doing father work now together. And that's an ugly fucking place. Healing's ugly. So if your healing journey is ugly, Beatrice, I get it. So is mine. You ain't alone in that. There's nothing wrong with having an ugly fucking healing journey. It's actually par for the course. And the uglier your shit gets, the more you're going to get the sparkle and joy of healed. Just celebrate it. Just don't expect it to stick around for too long. Because healed wants to be celebrated, but healed is not a place you get to live. Healing is typically where you got to live. And then if you look at it as you get to live in healing, that's pretty fucking beautiful too. So one of the things I learned from a mentor that taught me how to not do a lot of things was, you don't got to do this life, you get to. So you get to be on a healing journey, whether you know where it started or not. Because for me, I know I've always been healing. I've been suicidal since I've been a kid. So I know that's just a part of my healing journey. And the biggest win on that is I don't act on it. Because I get to continue to heal if I don't give in to suicidal feelings. So no matter how you wrap up, you're good, you're bad, you're ugly, it's going to come out. Face it, love it, pour a motherfucking cup of tea, sit there and talk to it. Because healing takes that. Talk to yourself, talk to your demons, talk to your things. Because that is really how you get there. We don't know what there is, but it's not here. Because here is where we're at. There is where we're going. And when you're nowhere, you can think of it as you're now here. I love that because it came from The Love Guru, and I love that movie. And I got to use one of his cheesy lines. And Donna says, if I got to live like anyone in the life that isn't this, it would be that. And she's probably right. But thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you all for facilitating this. Because when I met you and when I went to that other workshop, I tried to recreate a workshop similar. And I did one, and it didn't feel right. It felt good. It was fine. It was cool, but it didn't feel right. And I was like, how do I set up these healing things? Then I did the Rad Academy, powered by the Magical Motherfucker Method. And that felt weird, and I still am going to revisit that. But this, like, you know, a lot of pastors say, God was telling me that I needed to be a pastor. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Now I get it. Because it's like, oh, you're supposed to be doing this shit. Chad needs to fucking talk to you in person about this fucking thing he wants to do. No, I don't want to. No, I don't want to. Fine, I'll talk to you. Quietly. Well, I'll burn your house down to get your attention. I'll be like, I ain't mad at you. I just need your attention. You know, Chad's just like, he'll throw a pebble at your walkway, not even your window. You know, but he let me know I needed to do this. And the more I do this, the more we do this, the more I realize we need to do this. This is our version of the Way Through Workshop. This is our version of healing in public and allowing all to come and participate. So without the people that constantly show up, I never worry about a show out anymore. I always know we're going to have people in the room. And honestly, I fucking probably hope we'd have less more often than not, because it runs so long and I panic that I'm taking up too many people's time. Right. I just want to thank, actually, it was 444 on the fucking YouTube. So that was funny. That 444 popped up, and I Googled the angel number, and I don't know what the fuck 444 means off the top of my head. But, wow. What does that mean? What do you mean 3? The math. But what does it mean? All right. So. All right, so I'm going to look up 444 and 3. And every time I look up angel number, I can't never remember what the fuck that angel number means right after I just had looked it up. So it just means that every time angel numbers pop up, I'm supposed to be fucking searching for, I'm supposed to be searching. Fuck, I don't want to keep searching. I just want to find that shit. I want to buy the tickets and not have to ride the ride. Taylor? Beatrice, hey now. Hey, that's you and I have different magic, and your magic is memorizing angel numbers, apparently. Angel numbers is another thing I hated. So many fucking people get angel numbers tattooed on them. I'm like, that's fucking cheesy. And it's like, you probably tattooed a lot of angel numbers on people. But you know, like, it's not cheesy. Healing's beautiful. Being a healer is beautiful. Stepping into your healing and being a healer is really beautiful. But simultaneously, that shit's fucking ugly. So if it's both good and bad, that's okay. That's how it's supposed to fucking go. And just like lean into the good and thank the bad for showing up and reminding you where you don't want to be. Message. So, I am Robbie Rapole. Thank you for coming to Rad Inc. and the Human Narrative. Thank you for fueling this passion for healing and love and workshopping and togetherness and tribing together. Because like when I was looking for my tribe, I thought I'd never find it. But every time I was looking for a short, big titty bitch, I always found them, and I never thought I was going to find them. And Chad's in the corner throwing pebbles. Donna's in the corner just showing up. Everything I've always wanted, I never thought I was going to get. But when I fucking release the need for it so bad that I hate it and hurt so bad, it ends up coming. So, Janice, whew, you dropped some science on me tonight about the forgiveness. And the more angry you got, the more sick you got. Real quick, so I read this thing about gout. I have gout. I've had gout most of my life. And one of the affirmations to protect you from gout, or whatever the fuck affirmations do, right? I am safe and secure. I am at peace with myself and others. The more unsafe and unsecure I feel, the more not at peace with others I feel, the more my gout comes and fucks me in the butt. So, thanks for the reminder. And thank you everyone for showing up to the Human Narrative Healing at Rad Inc. here in Melbourne, Florida. I am honored and pleased that this is my fucking place that I get to invite you into, and you get to show me the magic that actually is here. Because so much I just think, oh, it's just a building, and y'all make it so much more than that. So, thank you. I love you guys. And thank you, people on the internet. Once again, Patreon for the Human Narrative. Check it out because we appreciate you supporting this venture. Also, if you are looking for a community to help you find your voice and help you, ask for more support and healing, the Tattoo Community Support Group, it is on my Facebook. It is the pinned one at the top. And just please answer the questions. Thank you all. I love you all. Good night.